morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Starbase Weekly, the RGV aerial deep dive into images he captured from the ground and air in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Starbase Weekly. My name is Mauricio. This is episode 41, and it's Grandpa Joe's birthday, so everybody wish him a happy birthday in the comment section. And I'll pass this along to Indian Star.
Happy birthday, Grandpa Joe! It's funny, too. Thomas made a joke earlier. He said, Grandpa Joe's grandparents are coming, so how old are his grandparents? It's a funny joke, actually, I thought.
The great Grandpa Joe. No, they're in their 90s, and y'all, thank y'all so much for the birthday wishes. Big 42.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Matches your name, too.
Right? This is my year. This is it, guys. It doesn't get any better than this.
Wait, this is the end of the year. You need to start it at the beginning of the year, my friend. Anywho, I'm Indian Star, and I'll pass it over to Thomas.
Hello, I'm Thomas. Glad to be here. It's amazing to be here each week, and it's going to be exciting. Off to you. Actually, Mauricio, have you jumped in yet?
He started us off.
Oh!
You should throw it to Grandpa Joe. It's his birthday.
I was listening to the stream directly for a second there, so I missed it. All right. Well, I guess Golden Boy.
Hey, everybody, this is Zach. Welcome to today's episode. Thank you all for joining us. And I believe, as we mentioned, we have Grandpa Joe with us today. We have a great show on Grandpa Joe's birthday, and I'm glad you were able to join us instead of, if it was my birthday, I don't know if I'd be here, honestly. So shout out to you for being here today.
No. This is always the highlight of my week, and I got my grandparents to come in early, and we had a great time. And yep, lemon cake this year.
Lemon cake. Interesting.
Oh yeah. But on to Starbase.
Very nice, very nice. Well, we had an interesting week this week. Mauricio did two flyovers of, not two flyovers of Starbase, but two flyovers of Massey's, which was interesting because there's a lot happening over there. So I guess we can start off with that because we have some interesting things that we noticed in that flyover. And then we also have some footage from Lab Padre that we're going to cover as well. Before we hop into the normal show. But let's go ahead and start over at the Massey site.
The normal show?
I'd like to point out how professional and polished we are every week. This is totally organized. It's a well-oiled machine, guys. No, you're getting it real. At least I'll give us that.
Hey.
Oh, I almost skipped over. Sorry about that. So
as I mentioned, work to be this professional. Let me just say.
So as I mentioned, we have two flyovers of the Massey site. But before I get into this, I think we have a early donation train that's going. So I'll let Indy
there is
call that out.
Donation train. Thank you. We just want to give lots of thanks to the people who have started this train. It started off with Sharpies, who donated $10 and says, very happy, thank you. Then another $10 from 55 Chevy guy Steve, who said, I'll second Sharpie. Let's get a donation train and fuel for Sonny's Biscuits. Fuel for Sonny's Biscuits. Oh, fuel and Sonny's Biscuits. Ha! And then,
very important distinction right there.
Correct, because we don't want to fuel the biscuits. We want to have them in addition to. Also $10 donation from Cody Ruthko, who says, thank you for everything you guys and gals do. Thank you for noticing. And then Rocket Profit comes in with $10 as well, and he says, choo choo. And then we just got a €10 donation from Pumpkin. Thank you, Jacqueline. She says, locomotive breathe. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. So yeah, we're at the Massey site, and as you guys can tell, we mentioned last week these two test tanks got moved over here. So you can see that on the day that Mauricio did this, which I believe was Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, so on Thursday, you can see that those tanks were pretty much set up for a test, and they have these HESCO barriers that they put around the tank, basically to block the flow of nitrogen if they detonate, or not detonate this, but if it bursts during testing. So yeah, they kind of got all this set up really quickly. One of the interesting things that I just noticed, I'm just pointing out things that we should pay attention to that are out here before we watch the video. So they got a new house, a new mobile home out here. So there was, I don't know if you guys remember the really old looking building that was here. I think the roof was partially caved in on that as well too. So it looks like they just placed this in that spot. So it's actually like got a direct line of sight to that tank. I really am interested to see how that looks right now. But this is Tom, is there anything else you wanted to point out about this before I show the video?
Oh, there's so much to point out, but go for the video.
Yeah, let's do that. So actually, hold on. Before I go to the video, I'm going to continue on through this because, so as Mauricio did his flyover yesterday, he happened to catch the E-dome as it was in the middle of a cryo test. So as you can see here, they added more of that barrier, or sorry, not a barrier, but actual like berm material, just with dirt surrounding it. And they still didn't really block anything from like getting towards this house right here, though. I guess I shouldn't call it a house. It's more like an office trailer, but yeah, you see all the equipment over here. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and get into that video. So this video is from Lab Padre's Sapphire camera. You can see the E-dome in the background over there as it ruptures. So this must have been probably, I don't know, a half hour to an hour after Mauricio flew over. So I'll start it from the beginning again.
By the way, I got some measurements on the height of how far up that went. 50 meters. That's basically the size of the Starship that goes up.
Wow.
Dang. Wait, did we get a picture of Mauricio flying over? Is that
No. He would have been too far up there, I think.
Yeah. And I also wonder if they had a TFR for exactly those kind of reasons. You don't want an explosion like that to interfere with any airplanes coming by, so you got to keep them above a level.
Yeah. This is interesting. So I don't know if I'm seeing something different here. I'm wondering if this the liquid part of this actually is staying within that berm, or if it's flowing all the way over to the water. I think, Thomas, you mentioned yesterday that it might just be the vapors that are reaching the water, but I mean, to me, it kind of looks like the actual liquid is in the river right there.
Yeah, I'm seeing a bit of the flow there. It is creating clouds, but it's gasifying quite rapidly. So you're increasing those clouds quite a bit. So the area that you have is going to be fairly large if you go back to that previous image, or they're thinking back about it. So I do see that they have on the left-hand side, it just really flowed easily. That would imply that there was some liquid movement over there.
So beyond the liquid flow, I mean, the implications are that this tank burst relatively early in the testing process. Sure, it's an early prototype, but that does not exactly bode well for the E-dome, change. They were expecting to use these for multiple tanks, and if they can't, or they don't work out, or they don't hold pressure well enough, they may not be able to use them for much. Or, like I said, early prototype, it failed early, and they'll live, they'll learn, and they'll try again.
Yeah, I mean that is a question whether or not it did fail early, but it, at least to us, I mean, I don't know if Thomas, if you agree as well, it seems like it failed early because usually they perform multiple tests on this before they get to that actual burst, the burst test, the test of failure. But they did have it strapped down, so it kind of does at least look like they were expecting that to happen. It's kind of hard for us to know whether or not it was early or not, and to me, it looked like it actually failed at the valve.
So looking at the video, I went frame by frame. It actually failed on the right-hand side, closest to us, at the bottom here. So that's where it appeared to fail from, and then it shot straight up from there towards the valve. So if you go frame by frame on this one, you can basically see it goes off on the right side and then goes straight up. See how it does that? It's just, there's something off about that weld, I suspect, on that side that caused it to a failure in that direction. So it's probably got a big old triangular wedge or something of a
cool
shape.
It's like it just redirects, like a secondary failure.
Well, yeah, the primary failure was probably at the edge, and then it just kept going to the path of least resistance, which was down the center of the seam to the valve body.
Wait, is it possible that it fails on the side there, and as soon as it fails, the like a burst disc on the top of the tank goes off in order to stop the entire thing from rupturing?
No, that's definitely a rupture for the whole thing. Your burst disc is going to be an overpressure. So if it hits a certain pressure, then it ruptures. Wow. And this is not like that. This is quite different.
Jeez, look at it. Look how immediately it spreads when it hits the ground. It's like a
it's a kid science project. It's vinegar.
Yeah, it's like a Mentos thing, like when it splash. Okay, so my thing, I just really want to see. I wish Mauricio had a chance to do. Oops. Okay, I wish Mauricio had a chance to do another flyover after this. Okay, I don't know why this is popping up. Sorry about that, guys. It's trying to get me to sign into my Twitter account for some reason. I'm gonna have to turn that feature off. So
we're totally not writing down your password right now. Go ahead.
We're good. So let's see. Where were we? When we look at the surrounding area up here, you can see that. Again, like I really want to know what this house looks like. I feel like it probably stripped all the paint off that. I bet all of these trees are probably brown now, all around the edge. I mean, we saw what Lab's vehicle looked like after the what's it called? What was that? GSE 4?
Yeah,
I believe.
GSE 4.
Yep.
Yeah. So I imagine it probably looks similar over here right now.
So one thing to mention before we skip it entirely is that berm itself. There's this kind of valve next to the larger HESCO bastions that are just, it basically just diverts all of the fluids. It looks like it's an open valve that's supposed to just drain into that entire area and basically pull it up and then let it evaporate. That was what it looks like their intended plan was. That's not the outcome of this particular plan, it appears.
Right. Yeah, they're. I'm surprised that you just didn't build it up more, and it's hard to know whether or not. Well, actually, we do know that they didn't build it up more. But yeah, this doesn't look like enough to actually really. Like, even if they expected it to burst, I would also expect that they know that they can't contain that volume within there, right?
The volume should be able to be contained within the berm. It's actually higher than it looks if you go to the other images, because we're looking almost straight down on this berm. You get a better sense of how high it is, and with the amount of volume you're looking at inside the tank, that they would just basically just flow freely out of that valve close to the HESCO barrier there. It would actually work out pretty well. So the drone footage from yesterday and pictures are probably the best ones to look at.
Right. That makes sense. Let me grab those. Sorry, I'm trying to uninstall this program in the background because it's causing my computer to kind of spin up. But yeah, you can see it right here. I mean, they're what, about a little bit 6-7 feet tall?
They look like hay bales. But yeah, now I don't know. They might be 8 to 10 feet tall. Actually, look at it compared to the size of that trailer.
Look at the people in the far bottom left. They're much shorter than the bales there.
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those might be 10 feet tall.
So Sharpie has a question. He's asking, is the area elevation very level, or has it a slight slope away from the house?
I feel like there are slopes and gradients all over this. I mean, maybe it's just my perception, but it appears to go down in certain directions.
Yeah, you can actually see on the top right, it slopes down into that berm area. And it does probably slope away from this particular pad. So it's been basically leveled for the most part for this entire area, but then they've gone through and done a bunch of other work.
Right.
Yeah, and you also have to remember this shot is taken at 3 different angles itself, so you kind of have to wrap your head around you're up and to the side and tilted.
Yeah, and so one of the other things I wanted to point out over here at the Sanchez site while we're here.
Massey's.
Wow, Massey's. Yeah, thank you. You can tell where my head's at. So we have a few items over here. First is this weird looking structure right here, which we don't know what it is. It kind of looks like to me it looks like a gate. Like a fancy gate that you would see like outside of a mansion. And this one, with it being a let me see if I can get a 2-lane road.
There's already a gate there.
Yeah, there's a gate there already, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put a big one in place of this.
SpaceX isn't really great at putting in gates. I mean, they fought with that one down at the launch pad forever.
I think they're still fighting with that one because it's got drainage issues still.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they've been playing around with that thing since I was there in 2020. You know, if they can build a rocket to Mars but not a gate. Oh man.
Well, they're not the ones building it, and it's all contracted out, and it's a hard problem to solve, especially when you have to do it piecemeal.
They're probably also putting their engineers that are on the ropes, like instead of the ship, they're like, you know what, you're in charge of the gate project now.
There was an engineer who came out talking to the construction workers. I remember a while back, and they were like, "Okay, we got the measurements," and they're like, "Oh, this won't work. We got to do something about this." And then they decided on a removable post. That was the solution to their biggest issue.
That works. So looking at those 2 oddball pieces, I mean, to me, it looks like they're about that 9-meter radius. Yeah, do you think so? Does that tell you could be part of a Starship thing or no chance? I mean, it's too beefy to be a permanent spaceflight article.
I don't think it's 9 meters.
Not even. Yeah, looking at the shipping container to the right, it's 8 feet across. And this is probably 12 feet for those, each individual piece going left to right.
Oh, so it's way too big.
No.
Well, it's too small. It's too small to be Starship related, I think. But the odd thing about it is the paint kind of matches this frame over here. So, I'm wondering if those are connected. Initially, we were thinking these might be for the ship QD arm, the stabilizer or the cloth replacement. But yeah, we really have no idea. We're kind of waiting to see them actually do something with that, and now we have these pieces over here, which, in my opinion, kind of look like they're related. So, I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Have we seen any similar pieces over at the Florida location? I remember seeing some oddball pieces there that we hadn't seen here.
I don't think so. And I was just thinking about something. What if?
I think we need to get Mauricio on a road trip out there. Give old Greg Scott some competition.
Those look like the old ones.
Hold on, I'm gonna get
It's
a better
not all
angle of
there.
this. I'm trying to get a close up of this really quick. I was just thinking if you turn this around so that they're both pointed that way, then these could go across it. But I don't know what you would do with that. Just random thought.
You know what? Give them a few weeks; they'll start slapping it together, and then we'll be able to figure it all out.
Oh, it could be for like stretch forms or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting actually. Well, the other thing I've noticed is so Mauricio caught this coming in a ground shot actually. So let me swap over to that ground image really quick. Mauricio caught this as it was being delivered. It looks like it came to the launch site first. Yeah.
So they said take it to SpaceX, so they went down to the launch site probably.
Right. Yeah. We've been expecting this to arrive for I don't know, several months now. If you guys have been watching the show that long, which most of you I believe have, we've been kind of waiting for this for a pretty long time, and looks like at least one of them has finally showed up. I'm not sure if there's two new ones or not, because this ground image, and maybe Mauricio can help me out with this as well. Mauricio, you took this aerial image first, right?
No, so the ground image was taken around 8 a.m. more or less, and then the drone photo was taken around 12 p.m.
So they drove it here and got it lifted off the truck after that time?
Yes. And again, this was on Thursday.
Right. Okay. So I guess there is only one for now, it looks like. But the other interesting thing over here is that the piston that got taken off of the Chopsticks, one of them at least, still sitting here. I wonder where the other one is. But yeah, weird storage that they're doing over here for that. But good sign to see this. I'll be interested to see whether or not it actually goes to the orbital tank farm. I'm kind of expecting it to be added to the methane side, or if possibly it's for whatever facility is going to come in here. However, we don't really think that it's necessary to super chill cryogenic methane and oxygen for Raptor testing. So they probably only need this at the launch site. But we also have a second one in here.
That one's been sitting around forever. Been back. It's been there in the mostly in the tracking station area for a number of years.
Is this like whatever stage comes after Rust?
Isn't that disintegration?
That's called patina. It's got a good patina to it. It's worth more that way. Now, maybe they were just waiting for both of them to come in so they can slap them both in and call it a day. Or maybe, and here's another thought: they might need kettle boilers for the testing station so they can sub-chill the cryogenic fluid to lower temperatures and test that out. What do you think about that?
I thought they didn't need to do that over there at the suborbital. Because we've had this conversation. I was under the impression that the only one that needs it is the OTF, not the SOTF.
Sorry, neither of those. I meant at Massey's. They might need to sub-chill so they can have the test articles down to operating temperature. If you super chill the nitrogen going in to the test article, that type of stainless steel SpaceX is using gets stronger at lower temperatures. But I don't see a place where you could put a hippo. They haven't added concrete for that, or a place to weld it in.
I don't even see the pump.
Yeah, the pump's just right there. It's
is it over here or over here?
No, it's either red valve. It's just to the right of the red valve. Just go
right.
There it
there.
is, right there.
That's a tiny little pump.
Yeah, so there's no way to pump it back. It's only one way, pretty much. So yeah,
they would have to burst it.
Not burst it. That's what that line was for. If you go back to the overflight view from yesterday, that's that little line I was pointing out, was that they will just dump it out right there.
Right here.
Yeah, that was their intended plan. You can actually see where it looks like they've discoloration of the soil around it, as if they already kind of ran a test of it.
Or they just allow some of the nitrogen to evaporate, and then that pressure pushes it back to the other tanks, and you're done.
You can do that. That would work up to a certain point. You would still need to open up that valve and release the rest of it.
Yeah. Or just let it sit for a week and boil off slowly.
Then you have multiple overpressure events.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. But let's move over to the Sanchez site. I think we've been talking about Massey's for quite a while. So let's go ahead and hop over to there, unless we have any questions about related to this.
I do actually have a comment that I was talking to Maria a bit about this, that Massey's has a bit of an interesting controversy going on. So Larry Massey, who owned Massey's, he actually has his gun range basically down off of Brown Road. It's Brown with an E. And the general manager he hired for Massey's kind of just picked it up from SpaceX and said, "Oh, now I'm Massey's," and he's got the other one here off of just Highway 4. So there's a little bit of a controversy there going on.
About the name?
Oh, well, it's about the name and how that all oriented for SpaceX. It's kind of one of those things that looks like it's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. So Massey's is technically the original Massey, Larry Massey, is off of Brown Road, and the other Massey's, which is basically been the name has been taken from this site and given to the other one. That was his general manager that was working with SpaceX and is supposed to be wrapping down operations. So it didn't work quite the way it was supposed to.
Interesting. Well, hopefully they resolve that. It kind of sucks having to fight over naming rights and stuff, but yeah.
But yeah, we can move on now. It's just one of those things where it's just one of those other interesting elements that you don't normally hear about.
Well, if it don't have nothing to do with spaceflight, I don't care. Let's go look at rockets.
I like the street view right now of this better.
Of here?
Yeah. I mean, it's like Legoland or just a city just popping up in the middle of all of Sanchez. It's amazing.
It looks like, well, so this is the first intersection that we have at Starbase now, right?
Yeah, it's a 4-way stop with actual stop signs.
Whoa, they have lines down there? What?
Yes. And the stop signs are black and white. So you can't really see it from this angle because it's in the
hold
shadow.
on. Let me see if I can get some ground.
I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. I mean, what is this? Order?
Do they have a
Lanes?
view of it from the ground, Thomas?
I didn't see it from the ground. It was from just another view of the opposite side of Sanchez. So we'll get to that. And oh my gosh, look at those lane markings of 1 through 5 for the loading.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can see that here. I'm gonna actually get a different.
We're all upside down.
Yeah.
There
so
we
they
go.
have. Why are they? Why are they backwards?
Well, it's right to left, I guess, because that's where you load from, because that's the very end. But that is interesting.
Just as important, why can that guy not park at all?
Got that huge space and still taking 2 lanes.
It's what happens with dualies. You do take up 2 spaces regardless.
I'm going to wait for him to just park right in the keep clear area.
You know, we've actually never counted how many parking spots are over here, so it's good that we finally know how many trucks they can offload at the same time. But yeah, this is really cool having, I mean, this is visible from 10,000 feet up.
Let's roll into that stop sign. I got to show you this. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Black and white.
Is that code?
No, but it's not on a public road.
Yeah, this is private property that they've got here. So nobody's allowed to see these except the workers and Mauricio while in flight.
Dang, I like those. I want a black and white stop sign.
It's really contrasty. Man.
Yeah, I like it. I wonder if they light up at night. So we have the lanes going all the way back here. And one of the other things, it kind of, the road stops as you get over to here because they're doing a little bit of construction work. You guys can see that next to the booster staging pad, we have ourselves another one in progress.
This one's slightly bigger.
Slightly bigger. It is. The depth is about the same, but it's a little bit wider. Not sure why, but maybe because, well, I don't know if this container is going to be enough to. Actually, it probably should be enough to pressurize all of these if they add another booster here.
It's prone to the soil. Like, look at the corner of where we're at. We're just right up against basically that marshy wetland soil.
Yeah.
Can you remind me with the other pads? Didn't they impregnate they put in deep stands into the concrete prior to putting or laying the rest of the pad down? Right?
These?
Oh, yeah, those.
Yeah.
I thought they were taller or went down further.
These are pretty tall. You can kind of see it right there. It's about as tall as the back of the bed of the truck, almost.
Okay,
A little bit shorter.
That's like 4 or 5 feet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I bet some civil engineer would know how if those would work out.
So here's the biggest problem. If you go back up to that pad, what is it for? Usually they don't build one of these pads until they know that a booster is going to come here. We have ship 9 under construction. Is this going to be just a staging area for, booster 9? Are we going to have, a staging for booster 9 or other boosters in the future or near future? Is that their plan, or is this is the junkyard? I don't know.
Mauricio, let's put a poll in the chat, because it seems pretty clear to me as well that we got a booster about to get retired. I think we got to ask the chat if it's going to be 7, 8, or 9 that comes here first.
I'm going to tip the scales and say it's going to be booster 7 after it gets caught and returned.
Oh.
Let's be optimistic here.
I mean, that is an optimistic problem. I like it.
You got to have, just like 15, the first booster they catch, they got to have a place to display that one.
Maybe they just need a place to put the transport stands when they're not being used,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good. I mean, the transport stands are always being used, but no, you could fit probably 2 of them if they stacked them right over there.
Well, that would be interesting actually, but I would be surprised to see them even put a third one over here, because you have the ability to store 3 starships right now, 3.5. I don't know if you can put one back there. I don't know if that stand will fit there, but yeah, 3 starships, 2 boosters. It'd be nice if they had a third one for boosters, because they're really outpacing starships right now with booster construction, in my opinion.
In some ways, I think they thought that starships were a solved problem and we don't need to focus on them until there's a problem that we've experienced and we've been able to test the current configuration by going orbital. Whereas the boosters, the booster and its interface to the orbital launch mount, there are all sorts of revisions happening. So they've got to focus all their effort on building boosters, redesigning boosters, building new boosters, and reworking the orbital launch mount to have it all made up properly and function. And so, yeah, of course, they have more boosters. They need to focus on that.
It's crazy. There's not very much dirt left in here. I think this right here might be dirt, and this wait, that might be concrete right there. I think they might be getting close to actually being able to look at this office trailer in the middle of some dirt. I feel like they might be getting close to actually being able to sweep this up and have it look clean forever, like the launch site does.
Oh, it's never going to be clean. You see all the dust just everywhere. There's no way they can keep it all clean.
True. And then they have this going on down here still. They're continuing to bring in even more dirt, which maybe I have a better view of this. Let's see.
Yeah, they're moving the construction vehicles around a lot too.
I like to point out whenever the booster did its last static fire, it blew up it did not blow up. It disturbed a lot of dust, and they had cleaned that fairly well. It even looked clean, but man, when they fire off, the rest of that dust just went flying.
I think it's to some degree creating its own dust as well too, because it vaporizing concrete.
That'll certainly do it.
Yeah, so that kind of explains that. Why? Well, if the launch site's so clean, then why is there so much dirt? Well, yeah, that's the concrete being vaporized, pretty much.
We need a water deluge.
When you sandblast concrete, what do you get more? Sand.
Raptor blasting concrete. Yep.
Yeah.
So this site is weird. We talked about this last week. These are the all the old transport stands that aren't being used, right? Both transport stands and just general construction stands. So this is an actual transport stand, I think, and then the rest of these are for different ring sections. This one's for a booster aft section. I don't know what these two are for. Something else. And then I think this. What was that?
For the top one, though, that was the old style transport stand for starships. So they've got a new style.
Right. So yeah, these are basically scrapped.
You could possibly salvage these. I would hope that they could on some of these, but some of the other ones, no, not so much. You got a load spreader right below your mouse there. And yeah, you mentioned the rest.
Yeah, this crane looks like he's about to start taking stuff apart soon, but it's actually also been parked there for quite a while. And they keep bringing in more and more sand. I'm just like, where's it all going?
It's on the roads.
Just kidding. On the roads, just blowing away.
Yeah, but no, they've been bringing a lot of sand, gravel, and other materials in, and it's been kind of filling in that area. They have been bringing it, I believe, over to, I think, over the build site. So there's been areas they've been filling in for, like specifically the road, San Martin Boulevard. There's been a lot of backfill in that area. That's probably where this is coming from. So we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, and so we haven't had any changes with this area yet, even though they do have. Looks like there's just a new parking lot over here, and again, this road goes all the way around the backside, which is really cool. And then we have a brand new cryogenic storage tank that just showed up. So they moved the two that were over here, and then another one showed up. It was almost like we were going to have finally some more space at the Sanchez site, but then they just go and bring another one. As far as we know, there is potentially at least one more of these in Brownsville right now waiting to come here, but we're not 100% sure on that. But yeah, it's interesting to see that here right now. I think we have more oddness down here. We have some flex hoses being assembled. These appear to be, I can't tell if it looks like they've cut it at the end so they can add on the end adapter. So they're like cutting these to the perfect length. And there's 3 of them. So
wait, what is that? What are those?
These are flex hoses.
Oh.
If you actually scroll up to the left a bit, you'll see the old ones for the ship QD. So just up a little bit more, and you'll see them on the trailer.
Okay. Yeah, and I was looking over the photos at the launch site and saw a bunch of flex hoses there as well.
Whoa. Are they going to swap out the ship QD ones again?
Either the ship or the booster, because they're kind of similar in length on the booster side as well. These ones look much thicker, though. It's very similar. I did see some issues when they had a cryo test a while back where they moved the QD. So I think they have a leak there, at least on the lock side, and they need to replace that one at least. There might be more, but you can see they've got 2 welding tents. You've got all sorts of other cryogenic pipes sticking out from this side, and then even just below you where you're at right now, just next to the road, right at the bottom of the screen there, you can see another pipe. So they're getting all this cryo pipe ready to replace some things, maybe on the table.
Oh, this one is for the kettle boilers.
Max Q was mentioning that they're for the old ship QDs, so the hoses are older. The ones Thomas was just talking about.
These are older?
These are brand new right here.
These ones are brand new. These are old up here.
Yeah. The old ones are still sitting there.
Yeah, and we have, I think this will be for the kettle boilers. That's what it looks like. It looks like an extra position right there. Yeah. Interesting. So we also have this transport stand with absolutely nothing happening to it because they used Booster 5's transport stand for Booster 9, so they didn't need this yet. But now that Booster 9 is getting close to being complete, I'm sure we'll start seeing them work on this again, but we got a long way to go for Booster 10. It's kind of crazy just having so many boosters when we haven't had a single launch yet.
And the environment.
Just a little bit off in the top right corner. Well, sorry, not on this picture, but I was looking at the little diverter stands that we were thinking might be flame diverters. Yeah. Okay, I thought I saw them stacked up somewhere in maybe that was on a ground shot, but yeah, they were continuing to work on those.
They're in the bottom corner over here.
There they are. I noticed they like very neatly stacked them up.
Yeah, they stacked them up a couple weeks back, and they haven't touched them since.
You think they're going to use them, or are they in the purgatory just awaiting disposal?
They probably have a purpose, but we just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, they definitely have a purpose. I'm still hoping we see them at the launch site, but we'll have to wait on that one.
In the end, they were just going to be used for like loading up trucks or something.
Just a ramp to drive stuff on. Thomas, I think we might be getting close to. You've been keeping an eye on this structure. They got it like the area around it cleaned up, almost like they're ready to start working on it again.
Or they're just about to chop it up.
Scrap it?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that. We had a speculation that they might send it out to, or at least I did, to Florida or something along those lines to work on their launch table and their infrastructure down there, specifically the legs to brace them. But that doesn't look like it'll work at this point.
Interesting. Well,
yeah, are those motors?
These?
Yeah, can you zoom in a little
I think
more?
These are the pipe stands that they put the booster transport stands on top of.
Yeah, they're squared and rounded edges. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. It caught my eye. It's always a scavenger hunt inside of the Sanchez site. That's for sure.
They're actually getting a little bit more organized, which is good to see. And especially in this area with all the pipes, it's new construction material. They've got a lot of old construction material up at the top right, but a lot of that pipe work is still organized really well. We still actually have right in the middle of all that test stand C just sitting there ready to be assembled. You can see all the elements there, right there. Yeah. So
yeah,
that one's,
I wonder if they've changed the design on it, or if they actually will use this.
If I were them, I'd make it at least a lot taller. Get less of that blowback from the rockets hitting the ground. That's caused a few problems already.
Yeah, they're having some issues also with getting the RVACs in and out, so that would also be another reason to make it just a bit taller.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, seems to be like a pain point watching them lift the RVACs in and out. So, Indy, do we have any questions about from the Sanchez site before we move over? Because I think that might be almost everything that's out here.
So there are a couple. There's one from Benjamin Klein, and he's asking, do you think a second launch tower will be allowed and built in the future? And would they be able to build another one? I mean, they haven't so much space for building the segments. So there's not a lot of room.
For building a second launch tower?
For building the segments? Yeah.
Yeah, so just scroll up a little bit.
Oh.
And you can see right there where all that junk is to your left.
Oh, yeah.
Just to the left of your mouse. That's where all the segments would be built.
Yeah, these are the pads where it was built, and there's some right here, too. They're all in this area. And I think there's...
At the bottom as well, right there.
Yeah, there's some over here, right?
Yeah, it's just to the right.
Right here. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's where they mostly built them, is in this area. So they've got plenty of room in here to do it. It's just a lot of junk to move, which would take about a day or two.
So if they wanted to, there is space at the launch site to add a second tower. I know originally in their very first submission to the Army Corps of Engineers and to the FAA, they were going to have 2 launch towers eventually. I don't know that that has gotten any sort of final approval, but if they needed it and they wanted it and they were approved for it, yeah, they could not to say easily build it, but my goodness, look how quickly they built the launch tower down in Florida, and they've already started a second Starship launch tower down in Florida. I've got no doubt they could have a launch tower here built in, under, I'd say, 5 months. especially once the base is in, they could probably have it assembled in under a month. Go ahead, Thomas.
So to answer another part of that question is they will have to go through and take the soil of some other location and basically acre for acre reproduce the area that they are removing. So they're basically covered over with land and rocket parts and concrete. And so you have to be having all the plants and other materials that would be acre for acre at another location in order to basically offset your like basically wetlands that you're covering with dirt. And so that'll take a bit of time, and it'll be a whole process by itself, and it'll be interesting to see where they do that at.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on. So I'm looking at the poll that we had in the comments, and so when we asked which booster will go to the new display stand, okay, polls it just ended. So we have B8 is the winner with 51%. So it looks like a lot of people are expecting Booster 8 to finish cryo testing and then come to the staging pad. Interesting.
I don't even think they're expecting that much. If it's already being shelved in their minds, it would pretty much come here as soon as it's ready.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to be on the lookout for that and see if that ends up happening or not.
I do like Grandpa Joe's Booster 7 after it comes back and lands, and they have an extra booster they need to get rid of.
Hell yeah, brother. So the other options are if for Booster 8 and Booster 9, Booster 8 is almost a clone of Booster 7. So if there are inherent problems with the design of 7, 8 has them too, and they're further along in testing it. So it would make more sense to skip Booster 8 and then just really flesh out Booster 9 that has all those new designs and improvements and bulletproofing and engine shielding integrated. Just push forward on 9 and make that the next flight article rather than 8. That said, they spent a lot of time on 8. I'm not sure what they were doing, but 8 might be easier to continue testing on. So we go 7 and then 8, or maybe just straight to 8. Who knows? We'll find out here probably in November.
Thomas, what is going on here?
Well, the Can Crusher is a new test article. They have a structure to the top right that goes with it as well. You can see that's got like a 90-degree corners. It's that little black object. They got it up, did a test fit, and then brought it back down. It's supposed to be welded onto it. You can't quite see it from this angle. You'd have to go to like the next image over to the right, I believe, with the Can Crusher, and that'll have a kind of a view right there. You can see it, that white piece sticking outside of the right. It's basically the same structure that they used on the test cell for Bob the nose cone number 12. No, not that tank. It's the one above.
Yeah, so I was grabbing a picture.
Okay. But yeah, so they're basically putting pressure on it. It doesn't have any additional reinforcements besides maybe a black bar going across it because they don't want to crush on the inside of it. Yeah, so there you go. So they did a test fit on it, and then they pulled it back down. You can see there's kind of a big gap at the top right. So they don't have it quite ready for welding yet. So go up to the very top of this image, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a gap. So
I think I'm maxed out on this one. Hold on. Do I need to?
I guess you could, as long as you can put your mouse over it, that'll be fine. Because
up here
from this. Well, I can't see your mouse now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so it's on the right-hand side. If you zoom out, there you go. Just put your mouse up at the top on the that. Just go to the left a bit more where it's connected on the bracketry. You can see there's a gap right there. So that's probably the issue with the test fit, that they need to fix that before they can weld it.
So what do you think this is?
Oh, well, this is a whole test article. They're gonna actuate it, and then it's got resistance with the hydraulic unit. That's the blue one next to that guy on the right at the bottom.
Yeah.
So they're going to do a whole slew of tests with the Can Crusher where they're basically pulling it down. I did go through, look at some of the max weights that they would be looking at for a test on this. I think it was about 2,000 tons that they're going to be able to put for pressure on this, because that's what you would see for a max Q flight rating of like 1.5 for the thrust to weight ratio of the booster. and that's the force you'll see. So, or at least you could see. So it looks to be a good test.
I have some more images of this as well too. Okay, that wasn't the best one. This is a good one. See, yeah, we can see that this adapter was actually usually originally placed on the nose cone jail. It was part of that structure, so this is now attached to the actual tank. And let's see if we have more.
But yeah, you can see that adapter at the bottom that they've had for weeks. We were speculating on what it would be used for. It was
wow.
can crusher. So we thought that might be a jig for construction, but it ended up here. And it actually makes a lot more sense when you realize, oh yeah, there's 20 of them. Can crusher has 20. That's meant usually for the booster, but this is adapting it for just a simple test tank like this. This one doesn't even have a dome on the inside, so it's just very structurally sparse on that side, except for that one cross bracing that you can see from the top side.
So hold on, is there a QD panel on this? Oh.
Yep, and they've got structural reinforcement on it. It's very strange, but it's not meant for anything else besides hooking up, I guess, wiring through the system, because you do need a way of testing. It looks like they actually have a hydraulic system maybe on the inside. That's what we were seeing as the cross bracing. If you go back to the aerial view, you can see that black piece going across diagonally right there. It's pretty much straight up and down on this one.
This one?
Yeah, so that might be another hydraulic unit to be able to push or pull in different directions.
Wow.
As they are pulling down on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is one of the most versatile test structures on the at the entire Starbase. It's interesting that they were able to place this here without needing that gantry crane. I mean, I guess it's not directly on the ground, but and also they probably aren't going to be putting all the same weight on this, so it makes sense that they don't need to actually set it on the ground. But
yeah, this is just pipe stand, so they just use an SPMT to bring it in. I don't even see the pipe stands all the way on the left side. Oh no, they're there, just in the shadow.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fill in the pipe stands on the left and right side, lower the SPMT, and fill in the rest of it.
Right. So this is this ring section would be the aft section of the Starship, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically testing the interstage.
It's basically the interstage section. The engine bell section is unpressurized. So the crazy part is this is a current design for their bottom of the Starship. So this would be ship 24, and so we're now just finally seeing a test like this. And I think it's a lot of these tests that we're seeing, not the E-Dome, of course, but the other tests, they're closer related to FAA, I think. They want to get all the documentation down. They want to know for themselves if this will work, but they also want to be able to show in paperwork to the FAA that, yes, this will work. We've tested it to these specifications, and here are the results.
Okay.
And that's part of the safety rating that you have to provide with the FAA.
Right. Yeah, it's really cool that they're able to, that they have so many different locations to test everything now. I mean, doing tests here at the Massey site, at the launch site. Got a lot going on out here at Starbase right now.
Now we just need to see some testing at the build site, and then it'll have everything as a test facility.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the build site, we might as well go ahead and move over there right now, because we got we're about an hour into the show, so definitely going to move forward a little bit. And Indy, did we have any questions that we wanted to touch on, or did we already get all of them?
Got them for now.
Perfect. So I have a theory about this, what we're about to see right here, and just want to see your guys' opinions on it. Let me get a better view of this, though. I guess this will be the best view that we have. So down here, you can see the structural steel for this, for whatever building is going to go right here. They actually have started laying it out already.
Yeah, you can see where
And
the
they-
foundations are at the very bottom there.
very edge of the pad. So it's gonna basically come all the way out here and go up to the back of the building. I'm having a feeling that. So if you see the way that this is designed right here, I feel like they're gonna curve this around so that trucks can come in here and do full circles. And if it was me, I would either put all of the booster, what do you call it, the engine shielding in that building, so that all you have to do is go straight into the mega bay, or store all of the Raptors in this building, because they're going to need a place to store Raptors soon if they take down tents 1 and 2, because the Raptor testing facility is actually inside of tent 1. So I have a feeling that in order to get rid of tent 1, they have to first replace the Raptor storage and testing facility, which, in my opinion, makes the most sense to be right here.
Well, the Raptors are fairly small compared to everything else, and you could really store them in any number of You could put them in a truck trailer, for instance, or a shed. So, I mean, storage could go anywhere. And but no, I mean, you're absolutely right. This would be a great staging location for all the little amenities and peripheral devices that are going into the boosters. So yeah, load them up there, filter them in, knock a door out right where they have a gap there, and you're ready to roll.
As a temporary storage for Raptor, I would agree, but they would put all that in the Star Factory when they're done.
When the Star Factory is finished.
Yeah, pretty much everything on the left side. You'll if you scroll up a little bit on the left, you can see just a little bit of that where you can see grid fins, all of the coverings that you're talking about. That's primarily, I think, would be the focus here.
To move all of this in here.
Yeah. A lot of that would be perfect in that area.
They would need to. I think maybe either way, they might end up cutting. Wait, do we already decide that it's not possible to cut this out?
They could cut it out, but there's a structural element in the middle of it. You'd have to re-engineer how it's built, and that's going to be a hassle. But you could do it.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun, but the real interesting part is those pieces on the left part of the pad. You're looking at basically the height of the building, I believe.
Oh yeah, these are the vertical pieces.
Yeah, and then if you go to the far right, whoa, that's really far.
That was a glitch. Sorry.
So far right, we went left. So yeah, you can see that these are the pieces I think would go that make the building lengthwise. So they run the length of the building here.
Wow, this will be interesting. I bet you by the time Mauricio does the next flyover, this might be like 80% completed.
Look at this little parking lot that you can see; it's just covered in dirt.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like driving straight over it. Yeah, it looks like they will definitely connect that, and this is another thing that would make it suck living back here is if this was like a delivery spot. You would just have trucks circling back through here all the time.
Just wear earplugs. You'd be good.
Just constantly wearing earplugs inside of your own living space.
At the factory, in the living space, everywhere.
What is that? Hold on.
Is that rebar? I can't tell.
Somebody moved the sun. No?
Oh, wow.
Do you think they might stack multiple layers of the
Jesus. That's a lot of steel. Wow. I wonder if this building will expand all the way over to here.
Maybe it'll wrap around there and go down.
I mean, why not,
Yeah, just basically have a whole support shed or completely surrounding the mega bay, wide bay.
Wow, this could get pretty interesting here for sure. With how much is in between here, I'm gonna have to count this at some point to figure out what we got, because that's a lot of steel. I don't want to dwell on that for too long though, because we got some really cool pictures inside of the bay, I believe. I don't know if this is the one I want.
I was looking at those earlier, and I couldn't make too much out except like, oh look, there's Booster 7.
Well, there was one that had a really cool view in looking inside. This one. So we got something weird happening in here, and unfortunately, Jax isn't here to explain what the heck is going on because I have no idea. But if we zoom into the Mega Bay, you can see a huge scaffolding setup in here, circling around nothing. There's no booster there. So it's just a massive circular platform.
I think Jax was thinking that was Ship 26's future home. Just
In the corner over here?
he really wants Ship 26 to fly. I don't know what the guy is thinking.
I think Grandpa Joe is teasing Jax there.
A little bit.
Yeah, this is...
And on a more serious note, if they're going to encircle the boosters, it would make sense that they would build all that structure and then test it out before. But where's Booster 9 at right now? I thought it was about in that corner.
The Booster 9, I think, is in the front left corner.
So if it's in the front left and that's in the back right, then yeah, they're just testing their work platforms.
Well,
right?
Booster 9's got to be in two pieces right now, so it might be...
Yeah, the booster name's on the right. Half of it's on the right, and the other half is on the.
So it's split between the two fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The back piece, I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking that they're probably trying to build up their construction equipment. So I'm maybe thinking robot arms, welding equipment, all of the pieces that we want to see them go through and build. Like they've got some platforms in there, so it would work with the platforms. But what else we have there would be very interesting to see once their scaffolding is removed.
Yeah, I'm looking from the ground views just to see if we can get a view into that back corner. So stand by.
And it could be that they're getting ready for their elevator as well.
Oh, good point. Because they should have that elevator installed pretty soon. And I remember last time we were talking about that and I couldn't find it, and it's actually over here in the Sanchez site.
All elevator, all over there.
Yeah, there it is. So it actually is on site, just still waiting to be installed. I thought it was actually installed, but nope. Turns out I was wrong.
And actually, that's a lot of empty scaffolding in the on the left side of this part of Sanchez. So I wonder if that is being used in high bay for the elevator. Yeah.
Wait. So do they not have an elevator at all in the Mega Bay?
They have one in the front.
It's in the back right corner if you're facing from the front. They need one on the back left as well. That was the plans.
Gotcha. That's a lot of stairs to take. That's a pretty tall booster, especially if you're carrying some power tools with you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And speaking of stairs, they got all these finished and ready to go. That's they just got them all like stacked up there. When you look at this from the ground view, it looks hilarious. But yeah, it looks like they're waiting to install these. This probably won't be able to happen until Booster 9 moves out of the way. And I'm just noticing. Sorry, I'm trying to get a better angle on this.
Stair City, where we have all your stair needs.
Let's stare at these stairs.
There's even more structural steel down here.
Wow, what the hell are they built? That's going to be a fairly sizable building.
Yeah, whatever they're adding on right now is going to be pretty. Oh wow, more platforms, more curved platforms coming. So we have more than what we thought. Whew.
Man, you're not even going to be able to see the booster after it's all encircled with this stuff. They're going to slide that thing in and it's going to be covered up.
Even more catwalks. This is going to be really nice to see once this is all in there. Their production facility for building boosters and ships and stacking operations inside of wide bay or Mega Bay, however you want to call it. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. The other one of my questions that I've been wondering though is what's going to happen with this area right here. Their pre-scrap zone, I guess you can call it. I wonder if it's just going to stay the scrap processing area.
Well, things have been moving around so much because of the construction of the Star Factory. We'll probably see this move around a bit. I think I see plenty of wiring. There used to be a tent that just held wiring, and I'm seeing it kind of all over the place here as well.
Wow. Definitely got a. Is that a downcomer?
No, those are just pipes, I think.
Okay. Let's say that'd be a weird place for a downcomer. So what do we have going on inside of the high bay? Other than ship 25 is fully stacked, and I guess we can see that its flaps have been installed. Well, they wait.
Yeah, the flaps and the
covers.
The covers for the
covers
front
have
of the flaps.
changed. Yeah, on top of them.
Is it right here?
No, just to the left.
It's that lighting, that little.
Oh, this?
Yeah. Because you're looking at the flat or the.
Oh wow, yeah, the flaps all the way out here, huh?
Uh-huh.
Have they welded the payload bay shut yet on this one, or no?
Not yet. Hopefully not.
But we do have really cool payload bay shots for today as well too. So let's actually, what building is that in? It's in one of the tents, right?
Tents.
That's in tent 2.
Tent 2.
That shot.
Before we move away from the high bay, didn't ship 26's aft dome, the thrust puck get moved in there or something this week? And then I think the nose cone for 26 went in and then came out, and then
that's a whole thing. Ship 26's nose cone has been going back and forth between low bay and the ring yard, and then in between from the ring yard to high bay. It went in high bay at least 2 or 3 times now. Like, it's the unwanted nose cone. Nobody wants it. It's just wrong wherever it sits.
This reminds me of whenever I have a ticket that like one group doesn't want, and then they just reassign it somewhere else. No, you guys take care of this one.
Yeah, there's ship 26's 5
payload bay
there. Yeah.
Is that their payload bay right there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Ship 26 payload bay right there. And then, so from the ground view, we have. Oh wait, really quick before we switch over. This right here is for the center engines on the Starship. So it's basically like the false bottom floor that goes at the top of the engines.
It's the protective shielding.
Yeah. That's pretty cool to see them like this.
I have not seen it, but I'll ask y'all, has there been any evidence of stairs or scaffolding or more permanent structures like they're doing in wide bay going into high bay? Like, do you think they'll ever do anything like that for the Starship production?
Eventually, I would hope they would, but I haven't seen any evidence of that yet. So maybe they'll finish off high bay, wide bay, wide bay, mega bay, then do high bay.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I would think like, hey, if it's working out well there, but with the boosters, you don't have to deal with the flaps, so it's less of a problem. All right, what are we looking at there? Oh, neato.
So we got a little model to show us what that piece looks like. And I think this one is from, sorry, I'm trying to remember his name on Twitter. Chameleon Circuit.
Chameleon, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So you can see this is the engines fall down or are down located below this. This is where the what do you call that enclosure I think the enclosure goes below this, the blast shield. It's tough to know. It's tough to see this without the engines in there to know how it fully looks. But yeah, okay, we got another picture coming in.
So is the blast shield the same thing as the false ceiling?
Yeah, now you can see it. It's the ceiling up here, and then the engines are contained within these little nubs.
Looks like a microscope.
And then those all have to gimbal. So that's where the actual power head is going to be inside of that. It goes through the rest of the way, and it all has to be able to gimbal. So there needs to be a either hard surface that it's be able to mount to and pivot and swivel around on the top side, or it's got a flexure like a bellows of some sort. And I think it's going to be a hard piece.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So let's go back to the. I was looking for that payload bay shot. So I really want to show us the inside of it. I'm just sitting here searching for it in the background. Probably switch over to the ground images really quick while I'm doing that. Maybe you can help me find it, Thomas.
You just want the payload door?
Is it this one?
Nope.
No.
It's got the white. I'll get it for you.
I just don't want to open another window if I have it right here. So I think it's towards the beginning.
Mauricio, how many ground shots did we get this week?
Lots.
I think it was around 200 and some, and aerial photos.
276 on the
176.
ground. 1 something on the aerial. 165.
Something like
All
that.
right. I guess I'm not finding it. So maybe I will have to use it. Oh, wow. There it is.
Hey.
Cool. So this is inside of tent 1, I believe.
This is 2.
Tent 2. Okay, so yeah, we're looking inside of tent 2, and you can see the payload bay right here for 27?
Yes. Or 26.
Yeah.
But I think 27.
So this is interesting. You can see that they've got tape around the edges. I'm guessing those are pretty sharp edges, and that they're probably going to also reinforce these soon.
They're really going to have to clean. They're going to really have to clean that up, all that tape and the goop off before they do any welding on that.
Look at this tensioner.
Oh, neato. Yeah, I guess that'll keep it all supported while it's open.
So does that pop off when they launch, or what?
No, so that's way beforehand. So right now it's basically threaded or reverse threaded on one side and the other, so that you can basically adjust it and stiffen it, and then you cut it off when you're done. So that's a useful piece just to keep the structure aligned the way you want it.
So is it to keep the mouth kind of closed, if you will?
Open, because the one other element is when they're putting in that PEZ loader or PEZ dispenser at this point, that will be part of the structure of how this whole thing is held together, because it goes below and above, and you can basically use that to make sure your structure is all one piece. But they haven't finished building it yet, so they need to keep that in place.
So is this where the PEZ dispenser loader slides into?
Yeah, so you can see the chain with the rest of it. Just right there, you can see this repeating pattern where your mouse just was. That is part of the loading mechanism and the dispensing mechanism. So that's where it shoots out from.
Nice. And we have a cool render showing how the PEZ dispenser works. Also thanks to Chameleon Circuit. Oops. There we go.
I like how they built in the grip into the Starlinks themselves, and that little grabber arm just picks them up.
Yeah, so the
definitely
newer
an interesting mechanism.
Yeah, the newer mechanism from Ship 24, it was very, I don't know, you could say underpowered on the motors that you could see that are going up and down. So like he has it as a hydraulic unit. From what it looks like it's just a worm drive that's just a motor. And they just use that to pick up the Starlinks repeatedly, and it's an easy way to do it.
Wow.
The one question I had watching this was, how are they going to eject in space the the ones on the bottom? How are they going to get those ejected out? And how are they going to get the ones from the top, pushing down because there's no gravity? And is there anything that would separate the two Starlink satellites that are on the same level? Is there any bracing in between the two units? Because it doesn't look like it right there.
So it just needs a tension system to pull down on it as it's going up. And when you're in space, you just need that same tension system to keep pulling down. So you see that top piece that's going up repeatedly right there? Yeah, that cross piece. It just needs tension on it at all times when you're in launch, and when you are ready to deploy. You need that tension there to basically pull those Starlinks down and even in space, just a rubber band can make a large movement over time. So they just need some sort of elasticity there. It could even just be simply a few motors and some wire just to pull down on it.
Interesting.
I am very much looking forward to seeing these guys shoot out the side in orbit. God, that's going to be such a great day.
I agree. Yeah, and shout out to Chameleon Circuit for creating that animation for us. I think we can probably throw it in the chat if you guys want to take a look at it later. Maybe Indy can do that for us.
Of course.
But yeah, this is really cool to actually get to see the inside of this. And again, even looking in here, we don't see anything yet for ejecting it. But as Thomas was saying,
the chain right there, that's part of the mechanism that moves it in and out.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. Just using a physical connection to basically pull it in and throw it out.
Wow.
It just needs to be guided a bit when you throw it out and pull it in.
That's really cool. So while we're here, we got some other shots of the Star Factory, I believe, too. There's a few good shots on the inside of that, I believe. And of course, I went the wrong way, like always. But while I'm searching for this, if you guys have not hit that like button yet today, please do us a favor and do that. We'd appreciate all of you for it. And here we go. We are inside of the Star Factory now. Mauricio, how do you get lucky enough to catch the doors open every time you get out there?
And every door, not just one door, like every door.
I feel like I never see the doors open.
I feel like they see you coming and they close the doors. I could be wrong.
Well, okay, so this is a payload bay, and I guess Max Q says that this is a thrust section for a Starship, and if I remember correctly, these were never moved in here, so allegedly they've actually been constructed inside of here entirely, inside of the Star Factory, and I think we might be able to see the payload bay door. Wait, is that it?
Yeah, that's the cutout for the door where it's supposed to be on the cutout. So you can see that they've got the lines already there to cut it. I'm not sure if they have cut it quite yet because I don't see anything as far as light going through, but it is darker. Either they have made some of the cuts. I'm not sure how they're doing it. Maybe a laser cutter.
Oh, sorry. Fail. Where did it go? You can kind of see the. It almost look like lasers.
Yeah, or water jets or something. There's really nice lines there. I can't tell though if they've been cut. If they have, it's really thin.
Interesting. Well, yeah, and so we have that Starship section back here, and again, none of these have the pins for TPS tiles on them, but you can see the stringers still. Yeah, wonder how long it's going to be until we start seeing TPS tiles come back.
That should be a booster section we're looking at here.
This one?
Yeah, the stringers are indicative of a booster.
What did I say? Starship section?
Yeah, I think it said Starship, so that'd be like booster 10.
Yeah, and you're also talking about thermal tiles, which generally don't go on boosters yet. But Thomas, how can you tell the difference between a booster section and a Starship section?
The stringers, like those stringers are quite far apart. So there's that's one stringer right there, and then it's further apart to the next stringer. So on the lock section of a booster, they're a lot closer together, and on a Starship for the lock section, it's kind of similar to the Starship. They're really close together. They don't have any on the methane section or above. It's all just pressure that's holding that up, plus the shell of the vehicle.
Yeah, and also the unpressurized section, like the engine section of the Starship, is super reinforced with stringers. And yeah, so the locks is going to have more, so they'd be closer together. But yeah, telling the difference between a Starship and a booster, like that distance.
hold on. Jax is in the background saying that we've seen a payload section that has pins on it.
Yeah, it's the first one that's happened in quite a while, is what he's mentioned as well. There is low bay. That's where we have to look at it. It's it's nice to have the pins being installed again. So they stopped for a bit and they're starting again.
How do we get to the low bay?
Let's see. I don't know where we're at on all of these images. You're very linear.
Is this it?
Yeah, that'll be it.
Oh, we do have pins. Yep. Nice. Okay. So normally, by the time it gets out here, doesn't it already have the tiles placed on it though?
No. So the pins are usually done inside of low bay. So they'll bring in a 5 section like this, bring it into low bay, and it looks like they even have the area for a cutout, but I don't know why that same cutout would be intersecting with what looks to be a hole. No, it's not a hole. It's just a circular part. I thought that was where the manhole is going to go. Somebody just made some scratches in a circular fashion all the way up.
This is the back side of the payload door, right? Like it's welded into the back wall.
That's where the payload door should be, in that area.
Oh, so the payload door goes here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And it looks like sorry, that's just the ring. It's not actually cut, right? So
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess that means, as Jack said, tiles will be returning on ship 28. That's good news.
Or at least the pins have. I hope the tiles return as well.
True. Good point. Well, shall we get back into the air a little bit? What else do we got? So, Star Factory from the air. I want to look at the... Oh, man. I don't know if I have a backside view. But up here, you guys can see the holes over here for the gutters. At least the ones that have been opened up.
What was it Philakid said last week? When it comes to buildings, you and I shouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I can't take that advice. We're going to have to talk about it. So let's see if I got a backside view maybe of this. Sorry, I'm looking through the other pictures in the background right now. I don't think I do.
So we were thinking this is for expanded rainwater management, and not just for this section, but for all the sections of Star Factory that may eventually come down here.
Yeah, you can see the center ones in the previous picture. They didn't have them cut out, nor do they have the pipes going down yet. So can you zoom out just a bit for this one, just to get the whole scale all the way? Just zoom out to the whole image. There we go. So all the tents pretty much will have the water collection all the way down to the bottom. That's going to be the size of the building. You're going to have all of that water being collected there. They may have something a little bit different for where maybe tent 1 and maybe half of tent 2 is at, because that's approximately where you'll have the nose cones being built. It's going to be a taller part of the building, and you might have it divert water off of that section before it gets all the way here. But even then, a lot of that rainwater will want to end up at the very bottom of this building, where they have just massive number of pipes for the collection.
So Max Q just asked in the background, he said, why does the Star Factory have a concrete aft flap coming off of it?
LOL.
Great question. Yeah, so you can see the holes for the gutters right here, and they go down through the concrete. And I believe they tap into possibly
that culvert system right there, where you see the two little concrete.
Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah.
And you see those.
I think they come straight down.
Yeah, you see those two boxes right there where more rainwater can go in. Yeah, that's all part of the same system.
There's saw them building just that. Right of your mouse there in the ground. It's just this tiny one.
And you got three. Yeah, and you got 4 more culverts off to the right.
Yeah, those are electrical.
These are electrical. Yeah.
Those are the utility access points for all the electrical lines. They haven't seemed to be running the electric lines yet. They've got all the conduit run, and it seems to be like at the dead of night, that they're running the electric lines or something, because there's like very ever rarely any photos of spools of
it
wire
happening.
going down these. Yeah.
Yeah. We have one spool right here, but it doesn't look like it's
You need to like start tracking the spools to see when
right.
they disappear and be like, it got used.
Yeah, and I was wondering if we've seen any spools anywhere, but the only ones I can think of are all at the Florida site. I don't think I've seen any here.
Yeah, but they're getting powered. They were going to be energized from Magic Valley Energy here, any week now, any month now. We just don't know exactly when. A lot of that is still under construction, as you can see, for the main lines to these buildings. We've seen a bunch of substations being built, such as this. This is a substation, so they have some power to the Star Factory, but they're getting additional lines run in additional directions. So it'll be very interesting when they're all done. A lot of this is either powered by generators or off of the current power supply, which is very limited.
I think it's interesting that they moved these office trailers over here.
Well, construction needs to go where it's at. And by the way, they moved the wagon wheel or the Ferris wheel or whatever you want to call it.
I know, I saw that, and this bothers me a little bit because I was hoping it was going to go to the Mega Bay, to be used for booster aft sections for the downcomer to be placed in there. But I don't know. So far, it looks like it's a Star Factory piece.
Well, some of the stuff will move in and out. So depending on, does this one have wheels? I don't see any wheels, so probably it's stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it almost looks like it sits on top of a rotary table.
Yeah, we've got so much more of that to the right. And hey, there's all the wire that we need to keep track of. But yeah, there's a turntable right here. You can see those pieces. Those are for the turntable.
This.
Yeah, those pieces down at the bottom.
Oh,
right
wow.
there. Yeah.
These are for nose cones, right?
Domes.
Domes. Okay.
The current 3.6 meter dome structure, not the short flattered ones.
So that goes on this, right?
It looks like it could go on that. It's got the work platform, so you'd have to remove the people from the element, or they have to squeeze in there from the bottom to get up inside the dome. That should work as well.
We got a header tank, just transport stand.
Just this little one.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff out here. I mean, they're definitely making moves on the inside of there. It'd be nice to see what it looks like in there right now, but obviously we aren't that lucky yet. But we have just been able to notice that there's a ton of equipment being moved in there pretty much every day. And obviously we mentioned that they have already started producing ring sections in there. But we also have, I'm pretty sure we're going to get this question on whether or not it looks like tents 1 and 2 are starting to be dismantled yet. And the answer to that is no. So they still look just about the same as they have in the...
It's absolutely yes. Look at all of these racks right here. Those weren't there last week. Those are from inside the tent. They've been cleaning house. Those weren't there last week, and they've been pulling those out. And it's getting exciting because it's moving day.
Do you know if these came from here or in there, or are these new?
Those are new. This is like shipping and receiving area, and they still haven't figured out where to send shipping and receiving, apparently. Those are probably jib cranes.
Yeah.
So it's a pedestal as the base you can see at the top of those cylinders, and then the rest of it's just the crane element, maybe some stanchions.
Oh. Moving day, that's for sure. What else do we got over here? We have the Starship aft section still outside. We have 2 stretch form domes. I feel like I'm missing something out here. I'm actually going to switch us over to this view. Oops. I don't think that's what I wanted to do.
Nice little seagull over there.
I'm missing something. Hold on. Huh. It's almost like I closed out of something on accident. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open it up. And while I'm doing that, I guess, Indy, did we have any donations or questions that we wanted to touch on?
Not so much.
Ground fab.
You guys are
Boom.
knocking it down.
Yeah, I'm
Lining
just
them up,
trying to think of something to
knocking 'em
talk
down.
about while you're looking for those pictures.
I got it now.
I got one.
You got
I got
it?
one. I got 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 a question for you.
Do it.
Missing Tools asks, could they use roof drains for rainwater system? Just collect and filter.
You could. So it'd basically be gray water. It'd be what the equivalent of that would be. So there's plenty of piping for it, but that one's a hit or miss type of direction that you'd be looking at. We talked about using potential rainwater that's been filtered in the past. For the idea would be an additional element for either fire suppression. You fill up the tank, or actually no, that's always going to be filled, so that wouldn't work. It would just have to be used for additional manufacturing purposes, where you're going to have to filter it on site. So it wouldn't be the greatest water. It would have to be something where you're not wanting it clean, or you have to really clean it before it goes in.
What's this?
It's a pellet of something. Could be roofing material. Could be a whole lot of other things. Very tall and flat. Or I'm sorry, long and flat. But it seems to be covered in tarp.
Yeah, it is covered. Not going to be able to get a good view of that.
So mostly what we're seeing is tarp.
Well, one thing that we can see is a ton of steel being delivered out here. Even every week, we got more piles of steel out here, which in my mind says that we got more changes coming to the launch mount as far as additional coverings go. And I'm just going to
there's a second delivery truck, and I think I recognize the items on that.
This?
Those are right there. Those look like the flipping elements for the ships or the domes. They will have an element they attach to it to flip it. So they've got 2 more of them. If I'm seeing that correctly.
These are basically hold on. The same as, is it outside? Did they leave it outside? The jig to flip them?
Usually they're attached to the 4 rings that they have that they flip them with. I've never seen it sitting outside.
Okay, I see what you mean now. Interesting. Yeah, so we have, all this steel. This is all brand new steel because it's not rusted yet. So I'm really interested to see where this is going to go. I feel like it's going on the launch mount, and we're going to look at that here in a few minutes. It seems like they're definitely preparing for that. But I don't see anything else out here that we haven't touched on. I'm just going to go ahead and cover all the bases really quick and make sure. Did you notice anything else out here, Thomas?
Lots of rings. They're getting ready for building more rings for their Star Factory, it appears.
Nothing special down in here being hidden from us this week.
We're never going to see anything in Star Factory now with that roof on.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move over to a little bit more north. And we do have some interesting developments down here, as we mentioned last week. This is a beautiful picture. You can see that the what do we call this? The village? Yeah, they're expanding this out.
Mars at Flats Landing, I think, is what it's called, or there's a couple other ones.
I thought they had like a sign like Vala Marineris or something.
Yeah, there's all the soil from Sanchez that we were talking about earlier is right there. So they've been backfilling this area here.
I was just thinking, by having more trailers out here, it's a 30-40 minute drive to Brownsville. So by having a trailer here for your key staff, you actually give them 2 hours of free time a day, or 2 hours extra working time.
Either one, yeah. More work. Yeah, I wonder if this is going to go all the way back here. I mean, it seems like
They own a lot of that property all along there. They don't own the one just above your cursor. That one's Texas Park, but they own a lot of it to the left as well. So there's huge chunks and swaths they own, and then it goes to spots all over the place.
Yeah, this is crazy. So have you noticed that the receiving area is getting cleared out?
I haven't seen it being cleared out, but it does look very clean. So they must be doing something with all that stuff.
Yeah, I wonder where it's all going. I have a feeling a lot of the stuff is at Sanchez now, or not Sanchez, Massey's, but I could be wrong.
Could also be that they're bringing a lot of that stuff into Star Factory itself for
True.
construction.
Good point.
And now I know where shipping and receiving is pretty much gone to.
The Star Factory?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So we have this road. This used to be a road, and now they repaved it, or no?
It was basically a dirt road. So that's I believe Weems. So yeah, they had just nothing but dirt there. I was back there in 2021 in April driving through, and it was just like, oh, it's just a little puddle of water. It just kept getting deeper and deeper. I'm like, nope, that's wrong. So I had to back out of there. But yeah, they've been getting that area really prepped. They've been putting a lot of new homes in. It's all kind of prefabbed as far as some of the materials, but it's going up very quickly, which is nice to see for a little community like that. And it's basically a company town. There's still a few different residents left, and they are still there. At least I think it's about 6 to 8 people, and that is, some of them are winter birds, so they come down for winter, and that's their thing.
And this is, I don't know what it is about this picture. It's so far away, but it also is super clear right now. I guess they all are, but it's just the angle on this one.
Oh, it's Epperson Drive is what it's we were looking at here to the left. Sorry.
Esperson?
Yeah.
So over here to the north, even further, we have this lot that we've been keeping an eye on. It looks like they're grading this as well too. Moving pretty quick on that. And we haven't seen them touch this one yet, which this old hotel, we're expecting them to start renovations on here soon as well. At least what we've seen, it's in the plans to do that. Hold on, can we see it in this image?
Yeah, so it doesn't look like they're actually touching the old hotel. I looked at the property records for it a while back. It still does not show any transfer of ownership. The problem with some of the properties around here, it'll have multiple owners. So you have to have all parties agree. And so, yeah, there's some problems right there. Right there, what we're looking at actually would be John's Drive. It's basically was a paper road. Now they're actually building up part of it because they would like some of the properties there that they own. And so that's what we're seeing as a large potential either warehouse or some other facility here. If you kind of move over to the bottom left, you'll see that they have a lot of construction material for siding or the roofing material.
Oh, wow, it's a steel building?
Yeah. So unless it's a really weird like steel house, which they do have a few of those around.
Oh man, that's going to be that's definitely, that's a real building right there. This will be one of the realest buildings out here, actually.
I don't know that that large building that they've put all the Starlinks through, basically their integrations building.
True.
That's probably the real building to me. Yeah, so there's the footprint of that one, and you could actually zoom out and show them again, and you can kind of see the difference. We don't know the exact size because they get the lot all settled, and then it's within that lot size that you will see a building being constructed.
Right. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm loving the way this area is developing. When we look down at the payload processing building, you can see that fence that they have going around the outside of it, and then they have the secondary fence. I guess, is this the sensitive?
No, that might be. But the area around it is just fencing for keeping their AC units and everything else secure and clean. Don't want people putting their debris on top of their AC units and breaking them.
Yeah, I think this is all we have for this area.
We probably should see blacktop or something like that
Back here.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming along pretty soon, based off of how they want to do integrations for that Starlink facility there, or the integrations facility. So Starlinks will be brought up to the top, and then they'll back them down into the back of that facility, and then they'll have basically that big white box, which would be the PEZ loader. They'll load it all up with Starlinks, and then bring it to the Starship and load them directly into it.
Yeah, it's weird having a dirt road leading into your clean room.
This
Semi
is
clean
peak,
room, I guess.
this is peak SpaceX right here.
All right, so I think we could probably hop over to the launch site now. It's a little early, but that is okay. We
Look,
have
we're
a good
just
amount. What was that?
no, we're just getting faster.
True. So we got some exciting stuff happening at the launch site this week. We have Booster 8 sitting outside waiting to be tested. Looking nice without its grid fins.
I don't know. 51% of people think it's going to be headed for basically Sanchez just to be put on display, and it's sitting here ready to do a cryo, and they haven't done anything obviously since the launch table is being worked on. So it's going to be an interesting bit here, trying to find what they end up doing with this booster. I'm hoping they still will use booster 7, 8, 9, etc. I really don't want them to just throw any boosters
Crap 'em.
away.
Yeah.
I feel the opposite, man. If a booster ain't gonna work, just move on to the next one. Don't be sentimental. Just go to the final form, and you're good to go.
Ooh, new concrete. Nice.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well. Wonder if it got damaged from. Well, they didn't have as spill as any nitrogen out here, so. Wait,
I'm just looking at all the parking spots they have lined
did
up.
did they lengthen the? Hold on, let's get another view of this landing pad.
No, there used to be parking spots there for unloading, I think, and it's just they replaced the concrete. They also did some more concrete work. You can actually see up at the top corner as well. They put in some more concrete for a retaining wall. Okay,
Where?
maybe it's on the top. I guess it doesn't work on this image.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, you can see it just top next to the. Oh, that dirt is coming in nice too.
Up here?
No, that's going to be concrete. You can see that they're ready to do that one, but wow, there's a lot of dirt in there.
I know. Look at that.
Oh my god!
It's just so thick.
I saw that from the air, and it oh yeah, look, they're adding dirt there, but oh my god, that's a lot of dirt.
Look at this.
Yeah, so that's going to be the nylon that they put over it to help stabilize the soil.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's not the last of the dirt either. They're going to do even more here.
Do we think this is the next tower tank farm or
Nah, not
quite
yet.
there yet.
crane parking?
Well,
it's going to be their next storage area for all their junk while they do launches. That's pretty much what happens with
they shouldn't
these areas.
store anything out here while they're launching.
Well, they're getting everything ready, at least for that next staging, for putting those large integration towers and the launch table and everything else. Go back up to the tank farm real quick that we're in this picture. Just look at the tank farm, and then at the top corner of these 5 tanks, methane tanks, you'll see that they've just done some forms. It's newly concreted. It's got the retaining wall now all connected together.
wow, I didn't notice that before. Nice. I was wondering what they were going to do with that. So then they'll probably also finish shielding or finish covering this with concrete after.
Probably it would make sense.
Well, that's looking spiffy. Very interesting. So we have over here at the other parts of the suborbital farm. I'm going to go this view, maybe. I like this one.
We want the full suborbital farm, right?
Yeah, we have. Sorry, so where the concrete that you were saying that just got poured? Did I miss it? Is it in the center?
No. It was the one that was earlier. It was that retaining wall I was specifically talking about.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can we talk about why ship 24 is where it is?
It's on the move, or at least in this image it was. They
Yeah.
moved it over to the cryo station, but
And
it's not going to be cryoed.
you don't think? I mean, well, here's what I was thinking.
It's sitting over here, right?
Yeah.
It's facing the wrong direction to be cryoed, and it's facing the right direction to be stacked. So they're going to be moving ship 24 probably onto booster 7 when it comes back. And so might skip booster 8. There's credence to the idea that booster 8 might be dead in that sense. Or they're going to just be like, it could be dead. We haven't launched 7 yet. So we'll see.
And here I was thinking they were going to test it on the ground just to test out the tower yet again. But no, I like your idea better, Thomas. Just stack it and send it.
Well, they're probably going to do stack and a static or something along those lines, or a static, then a stack. We'll see.
I'm trying to see if they've done anything to the concrete down here. Oops, wrong image.
I'm hoping they stack it, do a 33, and go from there. And then repair everything.
I would rather them ramp it up. So a lot of our friends have been talking about, well, if they did multiple static fires at like 15 or so engines, you will then get a good feel for how it's going to handle when you get up to 33. They've already done one 7-engine static fire, and they went crazy on putting in water systems of all kinds. So
Thomas, look at this.
See that.
So the damage to if you guys saw the video that I did put out 2 weeks ago, I just talked about the damage to this pad. And the crazy part about this is the damage to this actually looks far worse than the damage to this. So this actually looks like it's like pitted out a little bit, like deep.
It's just normal concrete right there.
Jeez, man, that's the worst damage on all the concrete is probably right here.
And then the rest of the concrete is very special, like the one that's above it. It used to be a lighter color. It darkened itself. It's meant to do that. And it looks like it's supposed to be a material that really can take the heat. And it's better than Martite, which is nice.
Yeah, I was hesitant to say that it was Martite before because I didn't know.
It's not Martite. It's Fondag. That's the concrete that's underneath that.
Here, let's swap over to this other view. We got a ground view of the suborbital test stand. So they've repainted this, right?
I don't think that's been repainted. That's just the area that's bubbled. Yeah, look at the bottom left. You can see that there's no paint on that one right in the middle.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So it's just bubbled like it's supposed to. It protects the elements underneath. It removes the heat away from the area you're trying to protect. And that was a 6-engine.
It's like those foaming coffee cup sleeves that just whenever they get hot, they bubble up.
I wonder if they're going to replace those cameras that were over here.
They're waiting for Mauricio to send his back so they can RMA it.
Oh, yeah. Mauricio, have there been any requests for the camera to be returned?
No, there haven't been any requests, and it's still standing. If they want it back, we can ship it back to.
Wait, you're really low. It's hard to hear you.
Can you still hear me? Or
yeah, there you go.
Okay. No, I haven't gotten any requests to do any of that. So I guess it's not claimed.
Well, I guess we're good then. All right. Well, in that case, yeah, I was just trying to get a good view up close of here. And while we're down here, have they started replacing the tiles?
Some people have said they have been working on the tiles. I haven't seen too much work there. Not sure what these two guys are doing. Maybe they are working on the tiles here.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting close to them. I can't tell.
Oh, those two on the left look to be new tiles.
Really? Where?
Yeah, just those two darker ones.
Right here?
Yeah, like they've been doing something in those with either that or even the ones on the right where there's dust. You can see around where there's dust. That's usually where they've drilled out a tile and replaced pieces.
Yeah, it seems like they haven't been in too much of a rush to do this. I wonder if getting it back on the ground I don't know. That probably shouldn't affect their ease of installing these tiles, having it on the ground. But I imagine that
it's faced the wrong direction. They're right against the berm, and so it's going to be difficult to get back in there to work on those tiles. They could, but it's just going to be a bit more difficult.
That makes sense. Well, let me hop back to the aerial view. So this area, we've heard a lot of questions about, just because people are wondering what's going on here. And I don't think they've added anything to this, right? It's still the same from last week.
Just to the bottom, or just to the left side, right there.
Right here.
Yeah. Oh no, the rock. That's that stuff right there.
Yeah. So I'm guessing they're doing the same thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're probably doing the same thing here that they, or actually the thing that is confusing me is why this side is different than by the orbital launch pad. You know, as far as like not having the same layers on it. If I can get a view showing the whole thing. I'll probably have to go to long distance to show this.
All right,
now that the ship has been moved, I kind of suspect they will work a bit more in this area because they had all the boom lifts and everything else right there. You can see that's just preventing them from all the construction. I do suspect they will start working on that a bit more.
It's a really cool view.
Yeah, Starbase is growing.
I like it.
Yeah, that little pond in the middle there is supposed to stay long term.
Yeah, speaking of that, this is one of the first times that we've seen that pond, or it's not the pond. This area looks a lot different with the recent rain that's came in through here. This is the first time in a long time that we've seen this much water back here. But
it looks really nice, all crystal clear. Go ahead, Mauricio.
Yeah, the only thing that's standing out to me is, I don't know if you all saw the video of there was like 20 four-wheelers that came rolling through Starbase. You can see the path that they took. They came all the way around up here.
Yeah, they're breaking a lot of laws doing that. It's protected wetlands, first off, and there's a lot of no ATV signs around to say you're not supposed to be driving your ATVs around. Mauricio, you were trying to say something?
Oh yeah, I was saying that one of the reasons why you see water there, I guess, pooled up is because of the surge from the ocean. If you zoom out, Zach, you can actually see how far the sand actually made it on Highway 4. If you zoom all the way to the left, there's probably a better photo.
Yeah.
The one on the right, that one.
Like this one?
Yeah, go ahead and zoom. Actually, no, that's you have to zoom.
I can't hear you very well. You sound really low.
Yeah, you have to zoom in all the way to the top.
The top?
Yeah, look at the beach right there on the road.
Look at how far the sand made it all the way to the road. It usually goes all the way to that truck is at. That's where it stops. And you can tell where all the water ended up being.
You can actually still see the water.
From the tide coming in?
Yeah. But it's as a result of the hurricane. That the effects made it all the way over here, I guess, in Florida.
But yeah, you can see all the water still pooled right there where those cars are parked. And you can see where it's started to dry and it's leaving some salty residue. Wow, that is impressive. Our hearts do go out to the victims,
rescue teams, Chief,
everybody out there in Florida.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Chief having to pull people out of the sand all the time. But yeah, that hurricane in Florida was pretty bad, and it's definitely brings up to, like, the topic of what would happen to Starbase if something like that were to happen. So always, I wonder what their emergency plan looks like for here. I mean, you can see that without it actually being a storm, it's just a rainstorm, I believe, and then there was a high tide. How far that pushes in without an actual, what do you call it? What's the word called?
Storm surge.
Yeah, storm surge. Yeah, exactly. Without having actual storm surge in here, how far it reaches. So with real storm surge, it's pushing all the way through the launch site. Luckily, this is all lifted up probably about 4 or 5 feet in here. But then once you hit this wall, it's like, 20, 30 feet. So it's just going to flow straight through here and back out of this side, most likely. So
they're
yeah,
about 14 feet above sea level in that location.
and they had 15 foot storm surge in Florida yesterday. So who knows? Maybe it's high enough that it wouldn't actually reach in here.
It'll still get in there, at least a foot of water plus any other choppiness that you're going to have with it, especially with the winds. So a hurricane coming through would flood this area. So a lot of the infrastructure is up higher, especially for like the launch table and the other facilities. Like you even mentioned, there it's about 4 or 5 feet up off the ground, just for the let's say the methane and the LOX and nitrogen side of the fuel farm. So that's should be above the areas that we would be hit with water. But
Right.
doesn't say it won't get wet.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we never have to see it happen, but I am interested to just see what their pre-storm plan looks like. Like what kind of actions they take leading up to a storm. I mean, number one, are they leaving the booster out there, or are they moving it back? Same thing with the Starship. What would happen? So it's really interesting to just consider that stuff. Hopefully, it's not anytime soon where we actually end up having to find out, though. So, continuing on, we I'm going to go to the tank farm. Because there's trouble in paradise at the tank farm yet again.
Oh, no, not again.
Again.
I thought they hadn't changed anything. What do they need? More pumps?
Jesus, you can see them from here, man. You got a massive LOX pump right here. And the thing about this LOX pump is we can't tell yet that they're going to swap something out. So they could be about to add it in, the fourth one. But they also...
Wait, hold up. Go back. So, yeah, there's another one. So that pump, I mean, that whole shebang right there,
there's another one down here.
Yeah, where does that go? Like all the way across, and then the motor goes on top of it?
Yeah, this goes inside of the hole. Well, I'm not sure if these have sleeves inside of them yet, so they may have to put the actual sleeve in there, and then this would go inside the sleeve, and then the motor goes on top of that.
So going from left to right, would you label those 1 through 5, or would you go from right to left?
I'm going to do like the air separation plant and go right to left, just because these are actually always been in here. So yeah, it looks like they're going
to... right to left, numbers 4, I think would have
4 or
a sleeve.
5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. 4 would, I think, have the sleeve. 5, it's not been touched.
Yeah, probably not. But that's the interesting thing. So you guys, I mean, we're about to find out if they're going to... Uh-oh.
Hey, hold on. Let me just ask this question.
We have a little bit of rapidness.
Yeah.
1 second.
You gotta DM some people about getting some more tape over that covering.
Yeah, I was gonna say this almost makes it look like they're gonna swap it, but that has nothing to do with the actual pump itself. But yeah, this clearly a LOX pump, and then down here, or up here, I guess, another LOX pump, and then a methane pump next to that. So
that's the old methane pump.
Even. That's the old one?
Yeah, they took it out and they wrapped it. They're sending it probably back to be repaired. So we've been having this conversation for a little while about potentially that the reason why the pumps are being switched out so often is cavitation. So from this one, we're going to say left to right 1 through 4. Numbers 2, it was basically pulled out. And they pulled out also 4, and then they put in number 2, and then used 4's pump on number 2. So they removed things and moved things around so much. It's crazy.
Call me crazy here, but isn't pumping cryogenic fluids a solved problem since the 1950s? Like, why are they having so much trouble with this? I mean, I don't mean to begrudge the SpaceX engineers at all. I couldn't do it. But other people have been doing this for 70 years. What's the deal?
Well, so one issue is what you see right there is the tank on the right-hand side. That was going to be the methane tank, and the rest of the tanks over to the left. So those are all horizontal tanks that are against the ground. You have a little bit of a difference there, which would be the head pressure that you would have behind it. So on the lock side of the fuel farm, we've replaced a few of the pumps, but not nearly as many as the methane side. And what happens is that we're probably looking at a lower pressure going into the pump feed side. So it's a lower pressure, and you're basically rotating your impellers, and they're causing cavitation. That cavitation is like forming micro bubbles that appear and disappear very quickly, and it causes a shock to the material that it's up against, and that material starts chipping away, and so the impellers are not as functional, and they can ingest material from the impellers to destroy more impellers, and it's bad. So
sounds like if you're having that problem, you need to pre-pressurize this stuff before it gets to the end and have a check.
It is. That's the thing, is it's pre-pressurized on all of these tanks. But then again, so are these vertical tanks as well.
You know what?
So
one of the things I've been thinking about is that maybe it's not pre-pressurization, but pre-chilling that needs to happen. So that it's way below the boil-off temperature before it reaches the pump, so it's not like flashing, or not flashing, I shouldn't say that. So it's not vaporizing as soon as it touches the pump.
And let me say in support of that, there's nothing to say that it has to go from the pumps to the kettle boilers. It could go from the tank through the kettle boilers.
There is something that says that there's a direction of the flow for sure.
Well, no. I'm saying you can have it pull it through the kettle boilers.
That's what I thought too, but apparently no.
No?
You just start pulling gas at some point instead.
Yeah. The thing that I really don't like about this, and we're sitting here like criticizing it, but it's not, don't take it that way, but we're just pointing out things that we've noticed without even really knowing what the full problem is. So grain of salt there. But just things that I'm noticing that, number one, these tanks are so much smaller than the ones next to them. And so the tops of these are like at the midpoint of these tanks. And I think this pad is actually higher up as well too. So the pipe that these go into before they enter the main black pipe, this actually goes uphill right here. So the height over here is lower than it is over here. So it's flowing. Not only are they below the other ones, but then it has to flow uphill in order to get to this point where then you can see it drop back down right here.
Oh man, that's all sorts of ugly. Hey kids, if you ever wanted to be an engineer and wondered what it was like arguing about your work, this is it.
Yeah, and like I said, I want to say it just a third time. We're just pointing out things that we've noticed, and we could be dead wrong about this. So
this is us reverse engineering and just trying to understand. And these guys have much better data. And you know what? Though we're saying that, they may be scratching their heads too, going, "This should have worked. Everything was fine on the paper. What the heck are we missing?" And professionals do that all the time. They make their best guess, they go with it, and then they find out they overlook something.
One of the interesting things in here is that these methane pipes aren't even insulated yet. They're not fully insulated yet. So it kind of shows that there's definitely something going on in here right now.
And one thing to point out, Dave actually pointed it out, that the pumps were picked up this morning on taken out of there on a trailer.
All of them?
2 of them. Well, he says pumps, so I'm assuming all of them, yes.
Interesting. Yeah. So, Indy, while we're here, do we have any questions from the audience?
Not a lot of questions from the audience, but Michelle had a question. She was saying, are we going to talk about the fact that ship 24 moved?
Just moved? Yeah. Well, we were talking about the testing. Wait, you mean today, or do you mean?
It just says, are we going to pretend that ship 24 didn't move?
We said it.
We talked about it for a few minutes.
That was it.
Explain yourself, Michelle Streeter.
No, it would be me.
Yeah, so okay, yeah, Max Q saying that was before the discussion. Yeah, so it moved, we believe, right here, or is it right here? I think it's right here.
I think
And
it's
it's
right
facing
there.
this way.
But what
I'm not
happened
really
to
sure.
next
Go
time it
ahead.
lifts off, it might be the last time it ever touches ground.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a possibility. But yeah, I think it's parked right here, facing this way, and they. But sorry, yeah, this is the ship cryo station, so we would expect it here. But yeah, I don't know where it's actually at.
It'll be
If
at the
it
ship's
which
cryo
location.
station. They want to bolt it down.
Right.
So
Okay.
just like they would bolt
And
it down for the booster, yeah.
just turned the other direction.
Yeah.
Has this concrete been replaced recently?
Well, recent enough you can see it's a patchwork quilt of
Whoa.
replaced concrete.
What is going on there?
It's Starbase. They're pouring concrete every day.
You got to fill that quota of how much concrete.
Oh, you know what this is? This is the only reason you're seeing this is because it's black now.
Well, it's rained recently too, so you got some water in the cracks.
True. Yeah.
Did we just throw back to the build site real quick? Did we see any evidence they were making headway towards pouring that concrete out in front of Wide Bay? And it looked like it was pretty sparse, like they didn't have too much heavy stuff out there. We don't have to go back in pictures. I was just talking.
Oh, it's easy enough. Yeah, with the concrete we were expecting was going to be up in here, which we haven't seen yet.
Oh, I was
over
expecting. Here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking right there.
Yeah, because they cleared a bunch of stuff out over here, or we thought they did, but I guess the stuff actually came from somewhere else. So we have been expecting them to pour it out here, but I mean, as long as they have what's in front of the wide bay done, I don't think they're in a rush to do the rest of it. Is that dirt? Where's he going? Anyways,
they're gonna bury Ship 26's nose cone with that dirt.
Max would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ship 26 first to orbit. You heard it here.
I think it's a good time for us to hop over to the launch, or sorry, not the launch site, the launch mount, where Mauricio got us some really awesome overhead shots looking straight down into the belly of the beast. Look at this one.
I know.
That is a perfect shot right there. Like you can almost see all 6 legs if it wasn't for the chopsticks.
Yeah. What is this?
Blast shielding.
It's in stripes though. It's really weird. Like it's multiple strips.
Wait, so that should be flat right there on the table, and then you have all the mounts on the inside, and you have the awning on the outside.
Max Q said he's fairly sure that it's engine shielding.
Oh, okay, that's just engine shielding.
Thank you very much. Just kidding.
Huh.
So did they just find some engine shielding inside of the launch table and go, "What's this?"
Hey.
I don't know, it's in the way.
I don't know. Well, the color of it kind of does make it look like it's engine shielding, but I'm not sure. You guys can tell that they've been doing a lot of grinding and welding on the top of the table. You can see all the marks where the grinding has like been spraying onto. But also, if you guys have seen, let's show it. Did I show this last episode, or was it?
No, I just tagged you on it and plugged you. Said you'd come out with something, and you came out with it.
Yeah, where is it? Hold on,
It's on Twitter.
There we go. I got it. Let me pop this up for us. So, sorry, I've been really shady the last few weeks. You guys have been asking what's going on the inside of the table, and I needed to give Ryan some time to work on this render. So now that he's got it semi-finished, and this is not all of it, but you can see the shields that they were installing onto the side of the launch mount. So basically the goal here, you guys can see from this view before that it's installed, you can basically see straight through the table to the backside. And that means that the explosion that happens in here can also see straight through. So in order to stop the explosion from passing through the table, you install these plates on the side of the clamps, and that blocks the explosion from entering. The problem with this is that there's a gap up here at the top of the clamp, which still would allow explosions to pass through. So I'm assuming that that is part of the thing that they're also covering up right now. And then you'll also notice this massive hole behind the QD. Yeah, that is the even bigger issue. So that is the biggest hole that there is on the table, and that is one of the things that they've been doing inside of it. Like it's really hard to see what they're doing, and I've got a few good images of it. I haven't really shared them yet, but we're still waiting for them to actually finish it to see how they're fully going to close this. Because the problem is that once these retract into here, whatever shield is behind it has to move with it. So it has to move with the actual Raptor QD, and as you can see with this one, it has to not touch. It has to clear this the opening for the clamps. And so one of the things that they did, which is crazy, I actually didn't mention before. We don't believe. I'm not actually 100% sure on this one, but I got to recheck with Ryan. But as far as I know, initially we didn't believe that this gap right here is actually wide enough for these plates to fit through. So we're pretty positive that they had to shave down every single one of these entrances in order to allow those plates to fit through there. So that was one of the big first operations that they did, was just shaving all of that down. And there was like 3 or 4 days where there's just sparks coming out of the table from every direction. And that's what they were doing there. So yeah, right now it's a major party on top of the launch mount as they're adding all the rest of the stuff in. And hopefully once they finish it, we'll have some more stuff to show you guys on that. But you can kind of see it from the aerial view too. I mean, you can just barely see the plates right here on either side of the clamp. Some of them don't look like they have it installed yet, like this one.
So you're not seeing any evidence of that top cover yet?
Not yet.
We need more pixels.
It would be back here, and it's like really hard to see inside of there. So yeah, it's tough. Let me try from this side.
Oh yeah, see, that one has some more direct sunlight and less shadow. We might be able to get a little bit more resolution there.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see the left and right. You can't see. Wait, that's the QD.
Yeah, you can see it on the left and right there on this one on the right. Just pixels, but you can barely see it.
Okay, and look right here. You can see through the constraining arm, so they haven't covered it yet.
I feel like we're getting back to our roots of dissecting pixels, and that's where I want to be.
Shoot, I've never left those roots. You're coming back. But you can see this is my favorite thing about this platform is that it almost feels like it was made for this moment, you know? Like, yeah, they use it for Raptor maintenance, but this day for this party that they're having up here, I feel like this is what it was truly meant for. Because they have all this scaffolding set up in here. Circling, wait, have they started removing some of it? No, still going all the way around. Yeah, that is quite the setup in here. So you have people on top, you have people inside. Let's go look at it from the ground as well, too, actually, because Mauricio has some cool pictures of it from the ground.
You were just at them and you just blew right past them.
Yeah, I was just making sure I was at the first one. So first of all, you guys will notice that there's like 1,000 wires hanging off the side of the launch mount. It looks like a
spider's web of wire.
Yeah.
Each one of those is going down to generators at the bottom. They have like over 50 of those generators there. It is insane. You can't even see them all because they're below these ones, but you can see at least, look at that. Generators upon generators just everywhere. Argon gas just sitting everywhere. And then they've got like welding or some welding stuff up above as
well. On top too.
Yeah, Like they've got some power distribution manifolds up there, argon like crazy.
These
Plates.
guys need some infrastructure. They need some more power down there.
More plates?
Yeah, they're just plates, and I think they've been sitting there for a while.
Okay, hold on. So we got to talk about these plates, because let me just look down here to see if there's anything interesting.
Those
ooh.
are parts. Nice.
Okay, I think this has something to do with the overall thing going on here, and I think I know what that is actually too. Cool. Been waiting for that. So just looking down here to see what other steel plates they have waiting to be installed.
Look at the
What?
shiny ones.
Oh boy.
Those look like the 5 circular sensors that used to go on the HPU cover. Or on the chines.
I'm not sure.
The aero
What you mean?
covers. Remember the aero
Wait,
covers? You used to have those. We used to call it a Starlink dish. Like a receiver for Starlink. Never mind.
am I looking at a different pile?
Yeah, you moved around on the piles a little bit. So there's the shiny ones.
Hmm.
Maybe those are just the paint lids.
Yeah, I think these go behind the QD, the Raptor QDs, but I'm not sure if they'll fit or not. We'll have to check on that later. Always another fun scavenger hunt area right outside this launch mount. But I bet if I count them, it'll be pretty clear what they are. So I'll probably do that a little bit later.
Somewhere in there, I saw the quick disconnect hoses.
Oh,
Really?
I think I know what those are. That's just scrap from the engine covers that's still sitting there this whole time.
Oh,
no
yeah.
way.
Yes, they're all just like weird shapes and warped all over. That's what it is for a bunch of this.
Not these, but those. I could see that for
Those
these.
definitely, yeah. But the ones on the left, some of that as well. I think it looks like it's scrap. Yeah, scrap all around. There's good stuff and there's bad stuff intermixed here.
I wish I could just see what it actually looks like up there, so I can get this right. These plates, there's another one down here. I feel like these are going on the backside of the launch mount. So let's go back to that ground view really quick. I see we have about 730 of you watching right now, and Mauricio is trying to get us up to 500 likes so he can release a full resolution gallery of Massey's and the ground images as well too, or is it just the ground star factory? Oh yeah, the ground gallery. So if you guys get us up to 500 likes, he will be releasing that. I think we're at 435, so getting kind of close. Thank you to everybody who's done that so far. And we're on the ground view right now, so we still got to talk about those chopsticks. This isn't the view I want.
Well, there's another view right there before you get to the chopsticks and jump from the launch table. Any view to the left of this area on the launch table, they have a new cover. It's
on the ground?
Yellow one. Oh, it's up on top.
Yeah.
I think I know why we don't have 500 likes yet. I haven't seen a single picture of Sunny yet.
Oh, you're right. We need more Sunny.
Mauricio hasn't taken a picture of Sunny in like 3 weeks.
Dude, Mauricio, what's going on with you, man? Are you okay? Is Sunny okay? What happened to Sunny?
He's fine. He just hasn't been able to go with me for these Starbase ground photo trips.
Is it teen angst? Is that what's going on? He's in his teen years right now.
Oh, he already looks like an adult. I'll probably take him next week for the ground shots.
Yeah, they just grow up so quick.
There's a lot going on here. Oh, I got a even bigger sign on that now.
Definitely no smoking or vaping.
Well, they're doing a lot of hot work up there, so I don't know if that's going to really help.
What's going on? Something's different up here. Can't figure out what it is.
Well, it's that big yellow box to the left.
Well, yeah, there's this big box right here. So this box actually goes over. I don't know if we're going to see it from this image. So we have another control panel over here. This one's pretty significant. Jesus.
Yeah, they've already.
Yeah. This is massive. This is a massive control panel. This is one of the biggest ones on the launch mount. Actually, it's split into two. It has it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I know what this is. Yeah. So I think that the big box that we saw over there is going to be used to cover up that.
It feels like it's in the wrong place if that is going to be moved over there.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
Agreed. Well, the other thing is, there's this panel right here that looks like it's about that size.
It could go in a lot of places that are pretty clean. So right where it's at, it could go there. It could go with that panel. It could be going to the left.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here.
But what's amazing is that the conduit is just sitting there for those boxes on the left you pointed out. It's empty. So
right here.
It's not populated yet.
Yo, that's pretty serious right there. That's major conduit coming out of that thing. Ready for explosions that hopefully won't happen.
It's got looks like 4 or 5 conduits at the top, so very serious. And then 2 more at the very top.
Dude, they're probably going back straight into the... Man, that's major. Installing this must have been a pretty big deal.
Oh, the camera's on. No smoking. No vaping.
We're watching. Exactly. That's a new camera. We also found a new camera that they've been installing cameras inside of the launch mount. So I'm guessing if there's like a gas leak or a fire in there, they'll be able to see it. So that's interesting. This whole panel right here is also new. This one is old back here, but yeah, I'm glad Mauricio always does this full walk around the launch mount every week now, because a lot of people don't realize that this area is changing a lot. So it's nice to be able to get more images of this backside in order to actually see what they do week to week. Oh wow, this is even better image of it.
There's minute by minute changes on this table. It's so much.
All this is new. This was the only thing that was over here before. But yeah, both of these setups are new. I'm gonna have to figure out what that one is. But I think they've also been adding... Okay, here was the other thing. We have scaffolding set up now over around the cryotubes. So the question is, what are they going to do? They could just be preparing to rewrap these. As you can see, they look like they've seen some better days. But even better than that, with the way that these brackets are made, we could see them install actual shielding over this very soon.
Yes, please.
Please do that.
As soon as you know the pipes work, they're good. You need to install the shielding, but the problem you want to fix before you have it is are you going to weld that on or are you going to bolt that on? Because if you bolt it on, you can remove it, fix things later. And if you do have some sort of explosion occur, at least you'd be able to find the panels.
Can you imagine trying to remove a bolt that has been through what these bolts will go through if they use them?
They're going to be quite melted if you don't use the right bolts.
Got to use some NICs on those, huh?
Yeah, well, they'll probably just end up heating up for each bolt as they remove them, because they're going to be kind of welded anyways.
So if they temporarily attach them, then that would make sense to have the scaffolding up here, because they got to set up all of the hardware in order to attach it. So yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on this area. I am hoping that they actually expand this around. Matter of fact, let's go back and look at that aerial view just one more time to see what else is out here. Oh, wow. Okay, this is a lot more cleaned up than I remember it ever looking. So we have nothing. All we have is the remaining items for the chopsticks, which is a whole different story. But there could be stuff under here that we're not seeing. Yeah, I don't see any more scaffolding. There used to be a whole bunch of scaffolding out here. Actually, I think it was over in this area. And I do not see. Is this scaffolding?
It's
Doesn't look like it.
it looks like parts of scaffolding or pellets for it.
How about this?
There's scaffolding just to your right there.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of cribbing. That's interesting. Sorry. So back on that ground image, yeah, keeping an eye out just to see if we'll see more of this scaffolding get set up over here. But yeah, I mean, if that happens, that's really exciting because that means we're getting much, much closer to.
Your screen just went black.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Freaked me out there. So, the other weird thing that I just want to point out here while we're on the launch mount is these random pipes that are coming up from out of here. There's
So you're saying
another
we
one back
replaced
here.
random pipes with other random pipes?
Yeah, like they're all over there's 4 of them up there, which we haven't been able to figure out yet. Where are they? Can't really see them from every view.
Maybe they're misters to
He's
keep
leaning on it. Look at that.
keeping the workers cool.
So no idea where this goes, but it goes down there. It was right up against the booster too when they lifted it out of there.
Is that like a quick fit connect for air compressors? Because that's kind of
It looks like it. It looks like it.
But why? Like they don't make sense. Like to aim them up like that unless
they don't.
The booster needs something extra for.
Look at this, Thomas.
They're still there. They didn't replace them. Why?
Another one. Look, another one coming up right here. They're all over the place. Random pipes.
I hope they replace those random pipes with these nicer looking random pipes.
Yeah, I can't. Usually, from some views, you can see them all sticking up. I can't really see them that well right now, but that's okay. I think it might be a good time for us to move on to some chopstick action.
Yeah. So this side, before you move to the other side of the chopsticks, you have the nice little rubber buffers there. There's only 4 of them on this side. The other side, that's where it gets really special. It's fully populated from like the midpoint almost to the end point where you should have a booster land. Any further back, your booster's done for anyways.
Yeah. They're very serious about catching this first booster, I think.
Yeah, they're really pushing for it. So those pieces you saw on the ground earlier, these are some of the same pieces you see up here, those long piston-looking devices.
Time out. I just noticed that they have added like 16 more rubber baby bumpers for the brake pads.
Yes. So it's been populated quite a bit.
Yeah. So these will actually slide alongside the top of the booster. So the way they have these the stringers extending down in this spot is so that when you press the pads up against the booster as it's falling in, it slides up.
And that's in worst case scenario. It should grab it.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing that.
Well, ideally, it won't contact beforehand, but you never know. Maybe they want it to.
They are rubber-ish looking, and they'll have a coefficient of friction, so they may actually slow the ship down more, and in a like kind of.
Oh my god! They're using that to slow the ship down.
Yeah. Exactly. Wait. I'm right. Why are you laughing?
It's just scary. Brake pads.
That's what they are. They're brake pads.
I feel like they're bumpers, not brake pads. But I mean, Jesus, like if they're brake pads, that would imply that they'll get worn down from time to time and have to get replaced.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, the strange part is they don't even stick out that far compared to the top piece.
Why do they look like this?
They're just glued in, I think, with some plates at the bottom. Oh, wait, there's something else. What is that?
Also, if they did that, you would start having like little black streaks down the side of the booster.
I said not to wear your shoes on the booster. Trying to mix the metaphor of shoes in the house, but
Oops, wrong picture. Yeah, this will be interesting if they continue to add them all the way down. This side looks a little better, but it's weird how they're all uneven. Like, I mean, this one right here is oddly placed.
Hey, once the booster sands them down, they'll all be even.
Could be right. This is very interesting right there.
I think I am right. It makes too much sense. It's like It's like a bicycle brake pad.
I don't think we've seen any other action on the Chopsticks this week other than that, and on the booster or the ship QD. Where do we have some pictures of that? Or do we? Where's the backside of it? I don't think we have any. There we go. Just checking in on this to see if we have any changes going on here. Like if they're preparing for more claws, but still see the shaved off attachments for those. So it does not appear so yet.
Still like the idea of reattaching part of the system so that the platforms can be moved when they would like to move the platform. So that's a very automated system, not just a manual. I'm pushing the platform and using turnbuckles to do it.
I wonder how long the scaffolding's been here.
It's been there for a while. So from what I remember, it's been probably 3 months or so.
Really? I haven't even looked up here in forever because they're not doing anything with the tower. They could be sneaking a lot of stuff by and I wouldn't even notice.
You still see people go up there and work on stuff, so there's still activity. It's just not the main focus right now, which is the launch table. That's the biggest focus right now.
Once they get that ship up there, they'll have to start messing around with a lot of stuff. Speaking of the ship.
Yeah, sorry, I was checking in on this area to see if they've added anything else.
Did we lose Grandpa Joe?
Uh-oh.
He said, speaking of the ship, that was the middle of it.
We'll get him back, hopefully. I'm trying to get to the other side of the launch mount while we're waiting for Grandpa Joe to come back. Just making sure there wasn't something I missed down here.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. Lost my microphone. And I completely forgot what I was saying about the ship. My bad.
You're good. If it comes back to you, let us know. So the other thing I wanted to point out, when they took off the part of this that allows the crane to attach to it, I think they may have reinstalled it back onto Booster 7. Because Booster 7 had to be lifted by both bridge cranes when it was in the high bay, or the mega bay, whatever. So it didn't have them on there. I wonder if they had to take them off of 8 and install them onto 7, just so they could lift that. But just random interesting observation.
7's got its own pair, so they'll be good there. Oh no! Ooh, nice. There's a camera inside of there.
Yeah, I love that camera.
The camera's watching Mauricio as Mauricio watches the camera.
Yes, but I would love to see the view from the launch of every camera possible, like that SpaceX goes through and just grabs all their feeds and stores them.
Agreed.
And that'll be amazing.
What's all the writing on the stringers there?
It looks like numbers.
Yeah, I love that we can almost read that.
Is it me or is it upside down?
I think it's upside down. It's hard to tell.
It's probably before they did the dome flip or something.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they don't need to flip this dome because it's already faced the right way.
Whoa, look at the side profile of all the wires. Sorry, I was trying to get us to the ship because I wanted to talk about the front of it.
Yeah, this happened.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least it'll be an orbital flight test, if not a payload test.
They could still open up the payload door on the inside, but the Starlinks are never going to come out, how many ever they are. The rumor is that there's at least one. I think there's like 5 because they brought this to, or they connected this to the Pez loader at one point. And
What
it
is
had
that
like 5 in
saying?
there. OML.
What does that mean?
OLM.
No, it's OML on the ship.
What do you mean?
Oh, zoom in right there on the dead center, and you see the writing where it says OML.
Yeah, it's supposed to be something about closeouts. When you're finishing up, you do closeouts, but this is closed out completely.
Yeah, super closed, welded.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, unfortunately. I was
It
hoping
looks good from the front.
they'd launch some of those Starlinks. I had multiple theories on why they did that, but the best thing as far as theories go, it's just been replaced. It's been superseded by better technology that they like, and the design is just old, and there's something wrong with it potentially, so they covered it up.
Yeah, I have a feeling it just doesn't open at all.
Well, it could open on the inside, just you would never see it, so there's no answer there.
Checking in up here really quick. And Indy, I wanted to make sure that we're not skipping over any questions. And I know we had a whole bunch of donations come through, so do you want to touch on those?
Sure. I'll get the donations right now. We actually had a good amount of them. Thank you guys so much in advance for donating. We start off with John Dopker with the $2 donation. Then we had David St. John join as an RGV Early Access member. Welcome to the team. And then John comes back with another $10 and says, heck yeah, finally able to donate to YouTube, but he thought he was a bot. So he wants to thank you all for your awesome coverage. And then 55 Chevy Guy starts off with the $10 donation and says, Mauricio, thank you for the great ground photo shots. And then Rocket
That
Prophet. Go ahead,
sorry,
Thomas.
that image. He is showing a very open valve. It's been contaminated quite a bit. They're gonna have to blow that.
Yeah. I hope they put some caps on these. This makes me want to show that video that I made about the caps, but I'm not going to do that.
Continue on the donation. Sorry to interrupt there.
No,
Rocket Prophet donated. I heard
think you
that.
should do that video. That's funny. Rocket Prophet comes in with $10 and says, I'll second that. Then John comes in again with another $10. He says, third, you bet. Peanut comes in with $10 and says, choo choo, thank you. Yazada rounds it off with another $10 and says, I'm in. And those are all the donations that we've had so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys.
Maybe we should start a cap the covers donation drive because
Yeah.
they need to cap those covers.
These almost look like they melted.
And Cranky Old Men came in with $10 as well and says, for the plane rental, fuel and sunny treats. Great job, Mauricio.
Yeah, is that just plastic? Or
It looks like it. It looks melted.
Because I know that there can be an adhesive aspect to these, but why is it one side looking like it's a completely different covering than the other?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, GPJ, did you see that? OML is outer mold line.
Oh, no, I missed that. Thank you.
Spoil sport.
All right. Yeah. Did we have any other questions? I've kind of covered everything that I had for today.
I got a couple questions for you. Sure. If you're ready for
And
it.
Thomas, and if you guys wanted to also, if there's any ground pictures that I skipped over that you guys wanted to touch on, let me know.
I had one that, so Mauricio took a shot of a cage on the ground at the build site that looked kind of like it was made out of the same material as the Pez dispenser. I think it was on the back of a truck and they were unloading it or something. And I saw a guy with a tarp next to it. And while you're looking for that, Indian Star, what were you going to ask?
Well, if I it's better to finish your question first.
No, that was it. Just it was a picture I wanted to get Zach's interpretation.
Oh, just right there. Oh, that's not the one. Darn it.
It's towards
I could go
the
through
end.
these.
What was that?
What was that, Mauricio?
That it's all the way towards the end. The image GPJ is talking about. Should be one of the last images. There it is.
Yeah, I was looking at this a second ago. This is the I forgot.
It says
That was
longer
amazing.
Ron. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Longer Ron.
What does that mean?
Like instead of an aileron, this is a longer aileron, a longer Ron.
What?
It goes on a ship or a booster. I just don't recognize it. Zoom out again. Oh, that's good. It looks like something the COPVs could fit in, but there's, at least on Booster 9, no COPVs.
This looks familiar. I feel like I should know this one.
Go to the next image again.
I think because of Mr. Tate.
Oh, there's quite a bit of a curve there, and you're trying to read the label on that one.
Almost. Wait.
This was what Chameleon Circuit was giggling at the other day.
No idea.
Yeah, the permanent marker works better than those tags. I've looked at so many of those, and they're all just internal SpaceX numbering systems. But yeah, it's got a some 45-degree angles, and then it's or maybe less than that. It's really weird. I should look at this and know what it is, but it's not making any sense.
Wait. It's got the hinge on one side for the wing for the flap, and this goes along on the inside. And this is like this is a beefed
this is the flap structure.
Yeah.
Zoom back out.
So turn it on its side and put it on the side of the ship, and you got it.
Can I
do
that?
It's got the little hanger.
It's a little bit taller than I remember it being.
Well, it is the longer run.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's 2, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can do this. Oh God, that is not what I wanted. That's upside down.
It's gonna crash now.
Nope, that's not what I wanted either. All right, I give up.
But yeah, you can see, you can see, like, as Grandpa Joe mentioned, the outside, like that far right side up at the top, that is the top of the vehicle. Actually, now it's upside down. You flipped it upside down.
Okay, this is fine. You get the idea. There we go. Perfect.
No, it's
try really hard to get this.
You just mirrored it. It's still upside down.
Okay.
So yeah, that bottom piece goes up, where these are the mounting pieces. But yeah, anyways, there you go. Perfect.
Sorry, so I was like,
first try.
6 times the charm. So we got a picture of it as well too, actually installed on the ship. So let me get over to that.
Oh, nice.
This is what the hinge looks like when it's installed.
It even has the little hanger sticking out on the top as well.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, returning back to the ground images. Sorry for that struggle fest that was right there. And sorry, Andy, did we I think we cut you off in the middle of a question. So.
Oh, that's okay. Do you still want the question?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, John asks, what exactly are they going to do to beef up the mount? Armor plates or something else?
So we kind of touched on that a little bit ago, and it's armor plating for the clamps, and then shields to stop explosions from entering the inside of the QDs. And ideally, we would be able to see it from this view, but there's so much happening on the inside of the table that we can't. Every image that is taken, there's somebody standing in front of the door because there's that many people up there. So it's a little bit difficult to show this, unfortunately. Any others?
Yep. Needs Pizza asks, do you know if the problem with the engine chill and the possible Raptor QD redesign for the launch mount has been solved?
No comment.
Okay. Next question. Cranios asks, how will the Starlink loader work? Can the ship be loaded unpressurized before stacking? Will the loader be chopsticked?
No, you're not going to use the chopsticks to load the Starship. There's going to be problems with getting the chopsticks around the loader because the loader is bigger than 9 meters in diameter, and the chopsticks are really geared for 9 meters in diameter. So that's the worst way to do it. It's just easier to use the craning the loader up to the ship, and you can easily load all of the Starlinks directly from one side into the other. We've seen it hooked up before, in, what was it, high bay. So another option of being able to use the crane out at the pad would be available as well. It doesn't matter either way. But in the future, they might want to load it at the site itself, especially if they are putting a lot of weight in it. Otherwise, you're moving a ship down the road with all of your Starlinks, and it could be a little bit more top heavy. But then again, they have 70-meter boosters running down the road within an hour typically, or just over an hour. So not a huge deal.
Mauricio, one day I'm going to have to get you to go out and look all the way up so we can see
That's
how
what
high the
Squirrel
scaffold
Sport
goes.
says.
It goes all the way to the sky. That's how high it goes.
I've been trying to see it for like 2 months now. I'm about to take a trip to Starbase and take a picture of this myself. I'm actually going there later this month, so.
Well, that's news to us.
It
Oh,
should
well,
I'm
be.
sure a
We're
lot of
all.
people are going later this month, so.
I'm
Oh,
going
it's
later
already
this month
October,
too.
isn't it? Doggone it!
Yeah.
Wow.
It's October 1st.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yes, it is. All right, any more questions?
No, sir.
They actually installed that pump right there, just a little while ago.
Oh, I take it back. Yeah, the blue pump, the blue tarped ones.
Oh, you know what, Mauricio? There was some stuff I wanted to touch on in the aerials that you were showing that I kind of skipped over at the beginning. So it'd be nice to end the show off with that. Number one, it is very rare to see this much water in here. Like extremely rare. I think it probably happens like once or twice a year. But yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful picture.
That's part of the, what's it called? Somebody put
Laguna Madre.
They did a warning, a coastal flood warning, and it reads, it's been issued for South Padre Island due to water running into dunes late in the afternoon, and it's nearing the high tide, which is at 8:57. This was taken on the 29th, which is the same day that I did the fly. Actually, that was the notice a day before my flyover. So yeah, I've never seen it like that. From all the flyovers, I don't think it's ever been like that. And then when I went out there, I couldn't even go out there to the wetlands and the north side of the build site because of that.
Wow. So the part I wanted to show was I believe right here. So I don't know if you were joking about this or if you were serious. But so Elon posted a tweet the other day saying that Cybertrucks are able to drive through water.
Briefly.
Yeah, like he basically was referring to crossing over from South Padre Island to Boca Chica, basically. And I guess this is that crossing area.
So I have a unique perspective on this, as I have actually crossed exactly right there. And let me say first, it's a very short little hop. It's totally doable in a kayak. Don't do that during launch day. Yeah, you could do it, but there is a very stiff current either going in or out as the tide's going in or out. So if you're doing it, you do have to have some control, otherwise you'll be swept out to sea. So
you'll be in a cyber submarine.
Well, it depends how watertight it is. Also, just think about all that salt water on your truck. No.
Yeah. Okay, so if you had a Cybertruck, are you driving it across this?
No.
Maybe.
Do you feel like it would get through all of that though?
How does it propel itself forward?
The wheels just slowly move it forward. That's about
chugging water. Just I don't know.
If you have like
paddling.
Exactly. If you have like really aggressive tread on your tires, they'll get some thrust.
There was actually a YouTuber. His name is, I think it's Whistling Diesel. He put these big tires on his truck, and he did exactly that. But it goes extremely slow, so I'm not sure how the Cybertruck.
Wait. I saw that video, but he wasn't floating though. You're talking about when the airboat drove by him?
No, he wasn't. He was floating. He was floating using the tires, with the buoyancy of the tires. So
it was a monster truck, right?
Yes, but he wasn't moving too fast. He was moving extremely slow. I don't know, between 5.
Yeah, I saw that same one.
So I can imagine a Cybertruck, unless it has a propeller or you install an aftermarket propeller in the back, then I don't see it moving at extreme speeds, maybe between, I don't know, 3-5 miles an hour.
Yeah, he got it registered as a boat as well. That was the craziest part about that. So quick history lesson. If you could actually go back to the beginning of the pictures here. So the jetties that you were looking at, basically they weren't existing 100 years ago. Those are man-made. This all used to be the Laguna Madre. So the south water, the north water, those were all connected, but it was going through the suborbital launch farm. There was a river that went right through there. You can still see that's sort of existing. You could see some water lines there. That was part of what it was. And it went all the way down to the Rio Grande and to a little channel called the Boca Chica. So that was the little mouth. That's where Boca Chica came from. It went all the way up to South Padre Island, even to the North Padre shorelines, because all of that was the Laguna Madre. And I guess this would have been the South Laguna Madre.
And is it salty or is it not salty water?
It was fairly fresh water at the time. It still had a bit of salinity to it, but it was closer to fresh water.
It's brackish.
Well, now it definitely is. Between
I was trying to find a good image to show the whole.
And the jetties.
There was a couple of great pictures with the sunlight just reflecting off the water, and man, it just looked beautiful out there.
Yeah, always a good flyover, especially after having a week where we weren't able to do one last week. We did one, but it was a bit cloudy out there. So, or wait, was last week or the week we skipped?
No, last week we had clouds, but the week before that we skipped.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess I got that wrong. Anyways, do we have anything else, or you guys ready to wrap the show up? Do we have any final questions remaining?
Well, I was gonna mention before I forget that one thing that I was planning on doing out there for the next flyover, if it's clear like it is this time around, I'm gonna try and do a perfect orbit around the launch site or the build site. And the only issue is I need somebody to process these images to be able to create a 3D map, a 3D model of the site, so that way we can see the terrain and the elevations. And it's a method called photo. I don't know how to pronounce it. Photogrammetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done it before. This was probably about a few. I think the last time I did it was like last year, but I found it extremely hard to do, especially at a high altitude, and it was also time consuming. So that's the other thing I was going to mention. If you guys are supporters for that, definitely allows me to stay up in the air longer for these kind of things. To create, I think we can create that model for the next time. As long as there's no clouds in the way or interfering, it should be a good deal. And if you guys know anybody that can maybe reach out and to process the images, because that's another
We
thing.
know somebody.
Yeah, if they can process the images to do a 3D model, then we can get the ball rolling on that. So just wanted to let y'all know on that.
To doing it right with your camera is since we don't have the GPS coordinates directly attached, you'll either have to attach them to the camera and you're using your cell phone. That might work. I've played around with it before on the A7R4, but it had mixed results. But the other thing is you have to maintain the same zoom level for the entire orbit for that particular orbit.
Oh yeah, we've done, like I said, last year we might have done like 3 or 4 models, and we made them public. And we released some videos as well. But yeah, it's always the same focal length all around, and it has to be as perfect circle as possible. Obviously, the more images I take, the better the model becomes, the more detailed it is. So those models were created like at 5,000, 7,000 feet. So they weren't all that good. So I'm not sure how this one's gonna turn out. I actually did a 360 orbit around the tower, so I tried experimenting with that, but I just have the files. I don't have anybody to process them yet. So if anybody wants to help out with that, I'll send them your way. I'll just put them in the Dropbox link or Google Drive link and see what you guys can work with that. But yeah, it's gonna be something that I'm gonna be working on for the next flyover.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Well, while we're talking about future projects, if you guys aren't doing anything later today, I do have a YouTube video coming out. We'll be explaining the new water system on the orbital launch mount, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, hopefully that should be out here in the next few hours. But with that, I think we are pretty much wrapped up for today's show. So again, from me, my name is Zach Golden, and thank you all for being out here. I really love all of these Saturdays. It's really nice being able to do this every week and share all of this imagery with you guys, and hopefully you guys appreciate the show as well. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for getting us above 500 likes, and I will see you next week. Pass it off to Thomas.
Hello. So this has been so much fun again this week. Had a great time, and look forward to see what happens between now and next week. So lots of more fun. Indian Star, you want to take it off from there?
Sure. Thanks everybody for joining us. Episode 42 next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be here. Hopefully you guys will be too, and hopefully we'll have flyover pictures with Mr. Mauricio, and we can talk about that 360 view you want to do, Mauricio. You want to take it away and say goodbye?
Yes, I want to thank everybody for joining today and watching. And, it really means a lot if you guys would possibly share this video with anybody that doesn't know anything about the channel here and might find it interesting. It would mean a lot to us to build up a bigger audience for these streams. And yeah, thank you all for the support. And I'll be doing that 3D model for next week. So just be on the lookout for that. And Grandpa Joe.
GPJ.
Alrighty, guys. Main engine cut off. Stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.